Chapter 1381. Vice Valley Lord, what did you feed them just now? The shopkeeper asked curiously. A poison that makes them weak all over and have no strength to commit suicide. Sima Yue said, take these people to the backyard, I want to interrogate them personally. Okay. The shopkeeper went out, a few waiters came up quickly, each of them carried 2 people and flew out of the window directly to the backyard. Although those people wanted to call for help, they couldn't make a sound, so they could only be taken away. Get someone to clean up this place. Sima Yue said, gave up on the main door and flew down from the window with Bei Gong Tang. These people's words reminded her that she didn't appear for a few years, others thought she was missing, so they started to stir. Since this was the case, she wouldn't appear, the enemy was in the light while she was in the dark. Want to deal with Divine Devil Valley and Heartbreak Valley? Then it depends on who is dealing with who. Bring them in. Sima Yue ordered. A few waiters immediately brought those people into the courtyard. Sima Lu Xian and Sima Lai were still talking about her past. When they saw her bringing a group of people in with the waiters, they were surprised. Yue, what's going on? Just throw them in the courtyard. The waiters threw them all in the courtyard, then retreated. The logo on their clothes, are they from Cloud Cave? Sima Yulin thought of those people in Little Realm of Wenhai. That's right. Sima Yue took out a few pills and gave them to each of them. This pill could alleviate the toxicity of the previous poison, so that they could at least have the strength to speak. Sima Yue, I didn't expect you to come back. The person who was called the boss saw Sima Yue, his eyes flashed with hatred and regret. If they knew, they wouldn't have come here to eat. Thinking of this, he glared at his subordinates. They were the ones who wanted to come here to eat, saying that it would be fine with the spirit barrier. In the end, they were all caught. His subordinates were also very loyal. They used to go to other memory restaurant to eat, but this never happened. How could he be so unlucky to meet Sima Yue here? The others did not expect that Sima Yue would capture the people of the Cloud Cave when she went out. He had no idea why she had captured him. Yue, what's up with these people? Fatty Chu asked. In my territory, they said they want to destroy Divine Devil Valley and deal with Heartbreak Valley. Sima Yue fed the pill, clapped her hands and stepped on the person beside her. What? How bold must he be? The others were all amused. In her territory, he dared to say that he wanted to destroy her forces. His guts were not ordinary. Isn't Cloud Cave's strength weaker than Divine Devil Valley? Sima Yulin said, could it be that they found someone to support them? Divine Devil Valley was attacked by Cloud Cave's people before. At that time, we knew that they were in cahoots with that mysterious force. Sima Yue said, so I think they must have borrowed the power of that force. Then let's interrogate them quickly and see when they will take action. Don't think about it, we will not betray the sect. The boss said firmly. That's right, you better kill us. Otherwise we won't say anything. Oh, you're quite loyal. Sima Yue sneered, increased the strength of her foot and immediately broke that person's hand. The piercing pain made him cry out, beads of sweat fell along his hair, but even so, he was unwilling to say a word. Sima Yue retracted her foot, looked at him, then looked at the others. Everyone's eyes showed fear. Fear. This was definitely not because he was afraid of her. To a cultivator, this bit of pain was nothing more than a matter of enduring it. Does that mean it's fear of others? Because of this fear, they did not dare to say anything. Even if they died, it was better than the fear in their hearts. It seems that we can't get the situation out of them. Sima Lu Xian also noticed. Well, it seems that I have to put in a lot of effort. Sima Yue said. What are you going to do? Huang Yingying asked. Of course I'm going to deal with them. Sima Yue came to a spacious place, took out a pile of herbs and a pill furnace. In a short while, she refined a furnace of pills. Let them eat this. Sima Yue threw the jade bottle to Fatty Chu, packed up the pill furnace, and by the time she was done, she had already fed them the pills. What did you give us to eat? However, her words caused a few elders to glare at her. How could a little girl say such things? Sima Yue pursed her lips. This kind of filthy thing, was there a need to make such a fuss? Moreover, she was not wrong. Those people's expressions quickly became very erratic, their eyes lost focus. What's wrong with them? Fatty Chu asked. They are pursuing spiritual fulfillment. Sima Yue came in front of them and said, all right, now tell me what you know. What do you want to say? Let's talk about how to deal with Divine Devil Valley first. Divine Devil Valley? That person was stunned and said, we are going to attack Divine Devil Valley to kill all of them. Snatch their resources. Sima Yue interrupted him. Don't talk nonsense, what's your plan? How many people? Does Divine Devil Valley know about it? Divine Devil Valley has been fighting with us all these years, but they definitely don't know about the news this time because the main force attacking them is not Cloud Cave, but the people from above. People from above? Do you know who it is? We are just small fries at the bottom. How would we know who it is? But we have received news from the sect, asking us to go back secretly. What about the time? In a month's time. How many people? We don't know either. We are only responsible for following orders. You really don't know? Sima Yuyue's voice suddenly rose, startling everyone. It's true. Cloud Cave's people said with certainty. Their forces are not strong, they shouldn't be very important. It's normal that you don't know. Sima Lu Xian said. Yes, Yue, don't worry. The others also advised. Sima Yue nodded at them, then continued to interrogate. What about Heartbreak Valley? What do you know about this? I know this, they plan to kill their Valley Lord Shimin Feng, because they forced Zhongzheng clan and Yinyang Palace into a desperate situation. After killing him, after we destroy Divine Devil Valley, we will deal with the rest of Heartbreak Valley. Assassinate Shimin Feng? When? It seems to be these 2 days. Chapter 1382. It seemed that Heartbreak Valley's economic suppression of Zhongzheng family and Yinyang Palace made that mysterious force unable to sit still. Kill Shimin Feng first and cause chaos in Heartbreak Valley so that they could no longer suppress Yinyang Palace and Zhongzheng clan. At the same time they would deal with Divine Devil Valley. After destroying Divine Devil Valley, they would turn back to deal with Heartbreak Valley. All the plans had to be carried out when Sima Yue wasn't around, because her presence was too unpredictable. Then, Sima Yue asked some other questions, but the answers she got were all unimportant. These people's positions in White Cloud D were too low, and they knew too little. If it wasn't for the fact that the matters of Divine Devil Valley and Heartbreak Valley had been put on the agenda, they wouldn't have known. Sima Yue took out a dagger and stabbed it into one of the men's heart. The man struggled for a while before he died. She took the opportunity to probe his divine sense, and the information she obtained was similar to what he said. It seems like my elixir is quite effective. Sima Yue threw the corpse on the ground and set it on fire, burning it to ashes. What kind of pill did you feed them just now? Make them tell the truth. It's my first time using it, so I want to see the effect. Sima Yue said. Yu, will the Valley Lord be alright? Fatty Chu and the others asked worriedly. They had also heard of that mysterious force. They heard that there were many powerful people. If Shimin Feng and the others were not prepared, it would be very easy for them to get into trouble. Sima Yue also thought of this and said, I'll contact him first and then send someone to protect him secretly. All right. More than an hour later, a group of people left Memory Restaurant quietly. These people weren't from Heartbreak Valley, but people from Blood Fiend City that she had invited. The people of Blood Fiend City were living a stable life in the little realm. Towards Sima Yue they were very grateful. Moreover, after following her for such a long time, he knew a lot about her and understood her character better. In particular, some people had lived a peaceful life here for a period of time, and some wanted to go out and do something. Therefore, when Sima Yue asked for their help, they agreed without hesitation. Will these people be enough? Little Seven, who had come out to get some fresh air, was a little worried about the strength of those people. She and Shimin Feng had a good relationship. Now that she knew that he was in danger, she was very worried. After following Sima Yue for so many years, she had seen how powerful that mysterious force was. Grandpa went with them too. Besides, those people aren't as weak as you think they are. Sima Yue said. I don't know if your grandfather is reliable or not. Little Seven mumbled. Grandpa was despised by her. Sima Yue patted her head and said, I know you want to go, but you can't. Once you appear, others will know that I'm back. We can't let those people be unprepared. I know. That's why I didn't go. Little Seven sighed. It had been a long time since she beat someone up. Her hands were itching for a beating. When they deal with the Divine Devil Valley, you can do whatever you want. All right then, we can only wait. I don't know how long we have to wait. You rascal, how long have you been quiet and you're going to revert back to your original self? Sima Yue poked her forehead. Where? Little Seven pouted. Her face that was about to revert back to normal looked so cute. Where's Mier? Didn't he come out with you? He went out to play. Little Seven said, Don't worry, I've warned him. No matter what he turns into, he can't turn into our looks. We can't let anyone know that we're back. Not bad. You've grown up. Sima Yue praised with a smile. That's right. Little Seven raised her chin proudly. Oh right, you, do we have to do anything? We don't know the details about them attacking the Divine Devil Valley. We need to know more details about this. Sima Yue touched her chin. Although I've already sent someone to send a message back to the Divine Devil Valley to remind them to be careful, without any details, their defense has no purpose. Then let's go and capture the people above them. They're all in this city? Little Seven said with a grin. How did you know? Sima Yue stared at her. Did you do something behind my back? Nothing much, I just went to interrogate the remaining White Cloud D's people and asked about their boss. I'm smart, right? So you wanted to go long ago. Since you know where it is, let's go. More than an hour later, in a courtyard in the same district as them, someone who was busy suddenly barged in and interrupted them. Who are you? What are you doing in my White Cloud D's territory? I'm here to look for someone. Sima Yue and Thousand Resonance combined and turned into a valiant bearded man. That vicious aura around him made it obvious that he was here to look for trouble. Who are you looking for? Where's Wang Tianhua? Sima Yue asked. A rather elegant-looking man came out from the house and saw Sima Yue. He asked, Why are you looking for me? You're Wang Tianhua? That's right, who are you? I'm Guihua's brother-in-law's brother's neighbor's brother-in-law who you abandoned. I heard that you hurt her, so I'm here to look for you to clear things up with her. Sima Yue placed the large knife in her hand on her shoulder and casually made up a story. She found out about this Guihua from White Cloud D's people. She heard that she was a good friend of his from the same hometown and was abandoned by him. I've said it before, don't look for me again. If you come and bother me again, don't blame me for being rude. Wang Tianhua snorted coldly. Ayaya, you dumped her and you're still so arrogant. I'm here today to ask you to come with me to see her. If you don't agree, I'll forcefully take you away. In order to prevent any harm, you better come with me obediently. How dare you act so atrociously in my White Cloud D's territory? Wang Tianhua laughed coldly. With a wave of his hand, more than 10 people surrounded Sima Yue. However, Sima Yue didn't intend to fight with these people. She called out Little Seven who was in disguise. Little Seven's eyes lit up when she saw those people. She raised her fist and attacked them. Sima Yue teleported to Wang Tianhua's side. Wang Tianhua was shocked. Before he could react, he realized that his body couldn't move. What did you do to me? He screamed in shock. Nothing, just something to calm you down. You poisoned me. Smart. Sima Yue smiled. Then come with us obediently. Wang Tianhua watched as Little Seven took care of all the people in the courtyard. He felt as if his blood was flowing backwards. Let's go. Sima Yue grabbed him by the neck and took him away under the watchful eyes of the wounded on the ground. Chapter 1383. White Cloud D's people were in a mess. When did Guihua find such a powerful person to help her? Wang Tianhua had abandoned her. Now that he had been captured, would something happen to him? Should we report this to the higher-ups? What's there to report? If the higher-ups knew that he was delaying official business because of personal matters at this time, they would definitely punish him. If he is punished, will we still have a good life? When the time comes, he will definitely be sent as the power forward. That's true. Then let's not report it. As long as he came back before then, it would be fine. We're the ones doing it anyway. Yes. It's settled then. Therefore, no one suspected that Wang Tianhua had been kidnapped by Sima Yue. Wang Tianhua felt that after leaving White Cloud D's territory, his divine sense had become chaotic. He had no idea who he had been following, how long he had been following, and where he had gone. By the time he woke up, he was already surrounded by people. And this was not Guihua's home at all. Who are you? He realized that something was wrong. He wanted to move, but he was tied to the chair. Don't waste your energy. This is the immortal binding rope I refined. You won't be able to break it. Fatty Chu said proudly from the side. With just this, you can only bind someone of his level of strength. Once he gets a little stronger, you won't be able to do anything. You still have the nerve to call it the immortal binding rope? Sima Yulu and Fatty Chu had the best relationship. Seeing how proud he was, he laughed and teased. This is only the first generation. When I have time later, I will slowly improve it. I will definitely make this immortal binding rope live up to its name. Fatty Chu said confidently. We'll be waiting. Good luck. Sima Yulu smiled as he patted his shoulder. Wait for me to blind your eyes. How could Fatty Chu not tell that he was laughing at him? He patted his chest and said. Wang Tianhua tried to move, but he couldn't break free from the rope. Seeing the big man who brought her here, she said, This is not Guihua's home at all. Who are you? Why did you bring me here? What is your intention? Looks like you're not stupid after all, Sima Yue said as she removed her fusion with Thousand Resonance and returned to her original form. You are Sima Yue. Wang Tianhua exclaimed, his heart sinking. She actually came back secretly, but they didn't know about it. Also, did she know something by tying her up and bringing her here? You look so shocked, it seems like you know why I asked you to come here. Sima Yue said, if that's the case, are you going to confess or do you want me to torture you? Don't expect me to tell you anything. You better let me go. Otherwise, the people from my sect will definitely come looking for you. Can you find someone from your hometown? Sima Yue said, you don't need me to remind you of how you treat your subordinates, do you? Do you think they have the guts to interrupt you? Wang Tianhua's heart sank even further. She was right. Whoever dared to disturb him would definitely not have a good ending. Therefore it was very likely that they would ignore him this time. But even so, he would not tell her anything. Even if he were to die, he couldn't say anything. Just like those people. I'm going to waste my pills again. He heard a sigh by his ear and was then fed a pill. He wanted to spit it out, but it melted in his mouth and he couldn't spit it out. Very quickly he felt that his brain no longer belonged to him. It was as if he had arrived at a vast expanse of white. The white clouds touched him and it was very comfortable and pleasant. At this moment, it was as if someone was talking by his ear. He didn't know what was said and he didn't know what he said either. He thought that he had ascended to immortality. Not long after, the white clouds around him slowly dissipated, and the feeling of floating disappeared. His divine sense returned, and he found that he was still locked in the same room. However, there were no longer those people around him, and there was only a little girl in her teens. She sat on a chair by the side, her hands supporting her chin. Her big round eyes looked very innocent. Little sister, can you let me go? He tried to tempt her. If you let me go, I'll give you something good, how about that? Nothing much. Little Seven was very unhappy that he was treating her like a fool. If you want me to let you go, you have to agree to one condition. What condition? Wang Tianhua's eyes lit up. As long as there was hope, it was fine. I'll untie you and I will fight. If you win, you can leave. Little Seven said. Wang Tianhua looked at Little Seven. There was no spirit beast aura on her, which meant that she was a human. How strong could a human girl in her teens be? As long as she untied him, would she be able to stop him? Thinking of this, he readily agreed. Then I'll untie you. Little Seven came to his side and untied the knot on the rope. She took 2 steps back and said, it's done. Wang Tianhua stood up and tore off the rope on his body. Then he said to Little Seven, little sister, I don't want to hurt you. As long as you don't make a sound, I won't hurt you, understand? You're saying that you won't fight with me? Little Seven asked. Wait for next time, okay? I'll fight with you next time. Wang Tianhua sensed that there was no one outside, so he could escape. He walked towards the door and prepared to open it. However, just as his hand touched the handle, a cold aura came from behind him. You dare to lie to me? Do you really think I'm a child? Little Seven's voice was cold. Wang Tianhua was shocked and turned his head to look. The person who was at the other end of the room suddenly appeared in front of him. Then a pair of small hands grabbed his collar and grabbed his shoulders. With a strong swing, she threw him out. Wang Tianhua fell on his back. However, the pain on his body could not compare to the shock in his heart. This little girl actually had such great strength. Could it be that she was not as weak as she looked? You're not human? He wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and cried out. How am I human? Little Seven coldly snorted. You bad person, you actually dared to lie to me. You will pay the price. After saying this, she raised her fists and went to beat him up. Wang Tianhua saw that the action was familiar. His eyes suddenly widened and he cried out, you're the person who beat people up in the manor. You only know now. You dare to lie to the cute Little Seven. Prepare to suffer my anger. Little Seven shouted as she pounced forward. Very quickly, miserable cries came from the room. The other people in the courtyard all shook their heads. Yue let Little Seven guard him. Was this intentional? At the same time, far away in the outskirts, Shimin Feng and Old Bai were madly running. They were trying to shake off the people chasing them. However, no matter if they used a one-time transfer array or a space passage, the other party was able to lock onto them tightly. Because of the overdraft of their strength, the people behind them gradually caught up. Chapter 1384. Shimin Feng and the others naturally knew who was chasing them. They didn't expect that this mysterious power would actually come to kill them. It seemed that their suppression of the Yin-Yang Palace and the Zhongzheng clan had attracted the attention of that mysterious force. Previously, the Yin-Yang Palace and the Zhongzheng family had turned against each other because of Yue's scheme. However, later on, because of the support of the same force behind them, they temporarily colluded with each other. This time they had attacked the economies of the two forces, causing the other party to want to kill them. Everyone understood this in their hearts, so after catching up, they did not speak any nonsense and directly started fighting. However, the spirit beasts were injured, and the people's spirit energy was exhausted. They simply could not compare to the people who came up one after another. Was he really going to die here today? Outside the battlefield, a man frowned as he looked at the few people who were stubbornly resisting. These people's combat power was too strong. If they hadn't brought so many people and took turns to attack, they would have escaped this time. He sensed some movement in the air. Fearing that the situation had changed, he waved his hand to the people behind him. You guys attack together. Let's end this quickly. Upon receiving the order, the few people behind him ignored their own injuries and ran over to attack. Mother Kerr, someone is really trying to kill our Valley Lord. Fortunately we rushed over. Alright, cut the crap. Hurry up and save the Valley Lord and Elder Bai. The moment the spatial passageway opened, a group of people rushed out. When they saw Shimin Feng and the others being forced into a desperate situation, they were furious. Although they didn't know the relationship between Shimin Feng and Sima Yue, they knew that Sima Yue cared a lot about him and Bai Sheng. If something really happened, how were they going to account for it? One had to know that they had patted their chests and promised that they would protect Shimin Feng and the others well. Valley Lord, we are here to save you. Valley Lord, let us deal with these people. Old Bai, we're here. Shimin Feng's group only had a dozen people while the enemy had 30 to 40 people. The people from Bloodfiend City who had rushed over were a total of 200 people and all of them were very strong. When they saw these people, everyone was dumbfounded. Shimin Feng had never seen them before, but from their voices, he knew that these people should be called by Sima Yue. Otherwise they wouldn't be called Valley Lord and wouldn't know Bai Sheng and the others. Bai Sheng looked at the leaders and smiled. He said excitedly, Valley Lord, they're here. We'll be fine. Shimin Feng and the others could not hold on any longer. When they saw that someone was coming, they went limp. Fortunately, he was caught by someone and did not fall to the ground. Mother Kerr. How dare you touch our Valley Lord? You must be tired of living. Brothers, today we must avenge the Valley Lord and the others. We must also know that our Heartbreak Valley is not that easy to bully. That's right. You talk too much. Let's do it, the others are already doing it. Very quickly those people were beaten to a pulp. They were cautious and did not kill them directly. But when those people saw that there was no hope of escaping, they all committed suicide. Old Bai, they're all dead. The people in charge of inspection said to Bai Sheng. Alright, Shimin Feng was not their real Valley Lord, so those words earlier were for others to hear. It was to prevent the identity of Bloodfiend City from being exposed, and to let others know that Sima Yue was secretly making arrangements. Because, other than Sima Yue, no one else from Bloodfiend City was able to move. If someone received today's news, they would only think that the people from Heartbreak Valley had rushed over. Now that they were sure that there was no one around, they would not really treat Shimin Feng as the Valley Lord. But they still had the respect that they should have. Why did you few old men come over? Bai Sheng had a good relationship with old Lu, so he asked. Of course it's because Miss Yue said that you were in trouble and asked us to come over. Old Lu said, at first she asked us to look for you. But when we found out that you were being chased, we rushed over. Luckily we came in time. How did boss know that we were being chased? An INE was injured and someone was bandaging his wound. Once he heard that it was Sima Yue who asked them to come over, he was extremely agitated. This you can go back and ask her. We don't know either. Old Lu scratched his neck. Yue caught a few people from Cloud Cave. She heard that there would be an assassination, so she asked them for help. Sima Xiuqi walked over from behind and said faintly. Shimin Feng saw that Sima Xiuqi was here and quickly bowed. Grandpa Qi, why are you here too? Yue was worried about you guys, so she asked me to rush over. I don't have anything to do at home, so I came over. Sima Xiuqi said. Yue said that you guys are in danger now and asked you to go back. After you guys rest, we'll make a move. All right. Shimin Feng and the rest knew that they were being targeted by that mysterious force. Without any preparation, it was too dangerous to stay outside. Half a day later, Sima Xiuqi brought them back to Sima Yuyue's place. When the people from Bloodfiend City came back, they said that they wanted to go out for a walk. They were nearby, so they weren't afraid of meeting their enemies. Sima Yue saw the injured people and they were all in a sorry state. How are you? Are you all right? I'm fine. Luckily you sent people to rescue us, Shimin Feng said. Boss, it's all thanks to you. You are our lucky star, Dai Yi said with a grin. Alright, all of you are seriously injured, so why are you still laughing foolishly? Hurry up and recuperate. Sima Yue patted his shoulder and pressed on his wound. Although the wound wasn't bleeding, it was still so painful that he grimaced and sucked in cold air. Sima Yue let go of him and said to the rest, I've already arranged the rooms for you guys. Don't worry about anything first and recuperate. We'll talk about other things later. Alright. Right, where's Lu Liangkai? Sima Yue asked. He should still be in Tong City. Send someone to inform him to come back. It's not safe for him to be outside now. Moreover, I have some things to discuss with him. Sima Yue said. Forget it, all of you are injured. Let the shopkeeper inform him later. Alright, go back to your rooms and rest now. Everyone returned to their rooms. After fighting for so long and escaping for so long, they were injured and tired. It was time to rest since they didn't fully recover. On the second day, Lu Liangkai came back. It wasn't too far away. Sima Yue called Shimin Feng and the rest to the living room and told them what she found out. So that force doesn't see eye to eye with us and is preparing to deal with us? And I said. You guys have been closing the net recently. Yin Yang Palace and Zhongzheng clan are forced into a desperate situation. That's why they want to get rid of Feng first, so that Heartbreak Valley will have no leader. After destroying Divine Devil Valley, the next target will be Heartbreak Valley. However, do they really think that the world's bones are so easy to chew? Sima Yue said solemnly. Chapter 1385. I don't know what kind of power that is. They're causing trouble everywhere. Feng Kai said, the Trade Union Alliance has joined forces with other forces to suppress them for the past 2 to 3 years. They have to deal with the Trade Union Alliance and still have the energy to attack other sects? The others were also very angry. Could it be that that faction is already so powerful? Sima Yue thought about it and shook her head. I don't think so. Even the forces in the inner circle couldn't possibly have such strength. With all the unions working together, even a single force in the inner circle would not be able to withstand them. Not to mention that he still had to spare energy to deal with others. If it really is a faction, then they are already so strong. They wouldn't be so secretive and play dirty tricks in the dark. Boss, do you mean that those things in the past were not done by a single faction? Shi Chen was shocked by his own thoughts. Every time we see them dressed the same way, it doesn't mean that they are the same group of people. Sima Yue said, are you sure that they are snobbish people? Everyone looked at each other. They really couldn't be sure. That's why we can't say anything for now. They might belong to the same faction or they might belong to different factions. We don't know. But no matter what the situation is, as long as they dare to invade us, then we will kill them one by one and kill them in pairs. We will not let those people return. Seeing how domineering Sima Yue was, everyone laughed and the tense atmosphere disappeared. However, I can be sure that the forces behind the Cloud Cave, Zhongzheng clan, and Yin Yang Palace should be the same. Then let's follow the clues and see if we can find this force. Alright. You have to be careful. If they kill you once, they will kill you twice. Furthermore, we've killed all of their people. They definitely won't let this matter rest. If you go out again, you must bring more people with you. Sima Yue reminded. We will. Shimin Feng nodded. He would not joke about the lives of the people in the valley. Liang Kai, you've worked hard these past few years. To be able to drive them to desperation, your contribution is remarkable. Sima Yue said to Lu Liang Kai. They definitely know about Liang Kai's existence. So Feng, you must send people to protect Liang Kai. I plan to bring more people with me if Liang Kai goes out. Shimin Feng thought of this too. Ask Fatty to refine more Thunderbolt bullets later. Bring more of them with you when you go out. See if we can't blow them up. And I said. No matter what, Fatty is still alone. Even if he refines day and night, he won't be able to make it in time, Feng Kai said. I've already discussed this matter with Fatty. He will return to the valley and teach the refiners in the valley how to refine Thunderbolt bombs. Sima Yue continued, it's just that you'll have to think of a way to get the materials, because some materials aren't easy to find. As long as it's a name list, it shouldn't be a problem. Yes, although these things are rare, they are not hard to find. Sima Yu continued, in addition, I got someone to pass the recipe to the Divine Devil Valley. If you meet them when you are purchasing materials, let them pass. Okay. Also, we've made some plans. Phone, or don't appear for a while. Just say that you were seriously injured in yesterday's assassination and are unconscious. Sima Yu said. Then you guys. Soon, Heartbreak Valley spread the news that Shimin Feng was assassinated and was seriously injured and unconscious. Fortunately, the people in the valley arrived in time and he was hanging on to his last breath. But even so, the people in Heartbreak Valley couldn't wake him up. They could only pin their hopes on the Divine Doctor, Vice Valley Lord. But Sima Yu had been missing for 3 to 4 years. So, the people in Heartbreak Valley searched for her everywhere. At this time, in an inconspicuous small courtyard in a certain city, several people wearing black clothes and black masks were gathered together. Shimin Feng is really unconscious? The person in the middle said with a hoarse voice. Yes, Heartbreak Valley is in chaos now. They sent many people out to search for Sima Yu. Hall Master, since they're in chaos, should we take the opportunity to destroy them? The person on the other side asked. Don't worry. The Hall Master said. Although Heartbreak Valley is in chaos now, it's not the time of life and death, so other forces won't care. But if we attack them and they ask for help, not to mention other things, just the Bird Clan alone is enough for us to deal with. Our top priority now is to take down Heartbreak Valley and let the professional masters in the valley strengthen our strength. Then we don't care about Heartbreak Valley? Yinyang Palace and Zhongzheng Clan have been suppressed badly recently. Send someone to tell them to hold on until a month later. Heartbreak Valley is already leaderless. If they can't survive in this situation, then just wait for bankruptcy. The organization won't want such useless trash. Yes. Hallmaster, I think Yinyang Palace and Zhongzheng Clan are too useless. This Heartbreak Valley has only been established for a few years. How can they not even compare to a new force? What do you know? The Hallmaster said. This Heartbreak Valley seems to be established not long ago, but its power can't be underestimated. They're so powerful? They can get the Hallmaster's affirmation? You've been carrying out missions, not intelligence gathering. It's reasonable that you're not familiar with them. The Hallmaster said. Although they've only been established not long ago, they have a strong background. Memory Restaurant is their property. In addition, Chinamo also gave them many shops. Plus these years of operation they've expanded a lot. So, their business foundation isn't weak. If they only have this little business foundation, they won't be able to make those two trash helpless. The Hallmaster said. Then why? Have you heard of Lu Liang Kai? Everyone thought for a while and said, Hallmaster, are you talking about the business genius Lu Liang Kai who was expelled from the Lu clan in the inner region? Yes, it's him. The Hallmaster snorted. The Lu clan is a group of old fools. Because of some groundless things, they drove a business genius out of the clan and chased him all the way. In the end, they forced him to go to Bloodfiend City. Now he's the one managing the economy in Heartbreak Valley. No wonder when I heard the news of Heartbreak Valley before, I felt that the name was familiar. With a certain foundation coupled with Lu Liang Kai's talent, it's normal that those two trash would be suppressed. It's a pity that none of our close to 100 people came back. The Hallmaster thought of this and clenched his fist. However, how did the people of Heartbreak Valley get the news and run to the rescue? Well, it's time to attack Divine Devil Valley. You guys go and make the final confirmation. 3 days later we'll set off. Chapter 1386. The Divine Devil Valley had been very busy these years, because the group of dregs from the Cloud Cave were very restless. They often provoked them and targeted them. While they were busy with the matters in the valley, they also had to deal with those bastards from Cloud Cave. What made them even angrier was that every time they forced the people of Cloud Cave into a desperate situation, there would be other forces coming to rescue them. It made them feel like they were hitting a ball of cotton. This really pissed them off. However, their tempers were much smoother recently, and they no longer looked bitter and bitter. Instead, they each did their own things. On this day, the people from Cloud Cave and the mysterious forces arrived at Divine Devil Valley. At the same time, the others went to their branch hall outside, preparing to destroy their forces in the branch hall. Boom! The fierce attack shook the entire Divine Devil Valley, and very quickly, a group of people flew out from the valley. The God Valley Lord Liang Wu Ming, the various hall masters, and a group of elders came out. Those who were observant would notice that only the older generation was here. Ing Bai Chuan, the junior valley master, and the various young hall masters were not here. Unfortunately, the people of the Cloud Cave didn't notice this, or even if they noticed this, they didn't care about it. They thought that they were allowed to stay in the valley to protect them. Liang Wu Ming saw Cloud Cave's cave master Ma Yuan Ming and saw the mess outside Divine Devil Valley. He shouted, "You damn horse, how dare you bring people to my Divine Devil Valley? Are you here to die?" Ha ha ha. Ma Yuan Ming raised his head and laughed. "Liang Wu Ming, you're still boasting even now. Today is the day that your Divine Devil Valley is annihilated." "With just the two of you?" Liang Wu Ming snorted coldly. "Since you're here, then stay here. Valley Lord, why are you still talking nonsense with them? Just kill him." Xiao Jingzhong shouted. "That's right." Tang Yi agreed with Xiao Jingzhong this time. The two of them stopped quarreling and stood together against the outside world. "Yes, Valley Lord. These people have already fought their way to our doorstep. If we don't exterminate them, wouldn't that make us look like a failure?" "Ha ha. Xiao Jingzhong, are you blind? With the lords here, you won't be able to escape death today." Ma Yuan Ming laughed. "Don't talk so much nonsense, just do it." The leader in black said. "Go." "Ha ha ha. You want to touch our Divine Devil Valley? Are you sure your brains aren't spoiled?" Suddenly, a loud laugh came from the sky, stopping the battle that was about to start. Could it be that there was external help at this time? When the people from Divine Devil Valley heard the voice, they were all excited. When they saw who it was, they all started to shout. "It is the second Valley Lord. Second, the Valley Lord has returned." "You brat, you actually left for so many years before coming back. I thought you died outside." Xiao Jingzhong shouted. I, Old Man Devil, am back." Ah. The person who came out of the spatial tunnel was Old Man Devil, who had disappeared for a long time. Although he looked the same, everyone could feel that his aura was different. Old Man Devil took 2 steps to Liang Wu Ming's side and said, "Senior brother, I'm back. If you still know to come back. If it wasn't for your life, Jade, we would have thought that you died outside." Liang Wu Ming glared at him. This guy ran away all these years, leaving him to take care of the Divine Devil Valley's matters alone. Now that he saw his familiar face, he couldn't help but get angry. "Of course I'm back. I just came out of seclusion and rushed back the moment I heard that something happened to the Divine Devil Valley." Old Man Devil said with certainty. "How did you know that something happened here? Who told you?" It's a secret." Old Man Devil said with a grin. He looked at Ma Yuan Ming with one hand on his waist and the other pointing at him, saying, "Dead horse, why are you still alive after so many years?" How can I die when you're not dead?" Ma Yuan Ming snorted. You sent so many people here to destroy my Divine Devil Valley. Luckily I came back in time, otherwise I wouldn't have seen you die." Old Man Devil sighed. "How arrogant. You think you're back?" Chapter 1387. When the people from Divine Devil Valley saw the item that the black-robed man took out, they were astonished. Many of their faces flashed with worry. Formation breaking tool. The faces of the Divine Devil Valley's hall masters and elders turned ugly. They didn't expect the mysterious force to have such a thing. The formation breaking tool was a very rare divine tool. With it in hand, it could break almost all of the present formations. Only the formations passed down from ancient times would not be of much use to it. "Get out." When the black-clothed man saw that the hole above was almost opened, he took the lead and flew out. When the others saw this, they also flew up. Soon, everyone in the array formation flew out of the array formation. "Although I am surprised that you all have made preparations beforehand, that does not mean that this will change anything," the black-clothed man said coldly. "That's right. Ma Yuan Ming had escaped a calamity." He was furious. He looked at Liang Wuming and the others with a fierce gaze. "Everyone attack. We must destroy them today. Let's see who will destroy who. Outer Valley disciples, now is the time to play our role. Everyone attack." Both parties had officially clashed, and the entire area outside the Divine Devil Valley was their battlefield. The nearby mountain peaks were almost destroyed. Even the Divine Devil Valley's main valley was destroyed because of the destruction of the defensive array. Because of the addition of the mysterious forces, the Divine Devil Valley was gradually losing ground. Many people began to use thunderbolt bullets. Once this thing appeared, the entire mountain range was riddled with holes. It had to be said that those from the inner regions were much more powerful than Divine Devil Valley. Even if they were prepared, even if they had thunderbolt bombs and various spirit weapons, they still couldn't defeat them. "Valley Lord, with my current strength, I won't be able to hold on for much longer. Xiao Jingzhong said as he panted heavily. After killing one person he saw that Liang Wuming was also resting. I didn't expect them to have an array-breaking artifact. This has spoiled our plan to a large extent. Liang Wuming said, I've already sent her a message. She should be bringing people over. Everyone just hold on a little longer. I can only endure. Damn it, luckily we have a lot of medicinal pills, otherwise this spiritual energy would not be enough. Xiao Jingzhong cursed, ate a medicinal pill, and continued to attack the people of the Cloud Cave. The Cloud Cave's people were originally afraid of the Divine Devil Valley's people, but seeing them retreating under the attack of the black-robed men, their morale soared, forcing the Divine Devil Valley's people to retreat into the valley. However, their defense array had been destroyed by the black-clothed men during the battle, so even if they retreated, it wouldn't be able to protect them. They're retreating. Everyone catch up, we must eradicate the Divine Devil Valley today. Ma Yuanming raised his arm and shouted. The people of Cloud Cave immediately became excited. The Divine Devil Valley had always been suppressing them. After so many years they could finally get rid of them and vent their anger. One side's morale was low due to their initial loss, while the other side's morale was high. The difference was obvious. By the time Sima Yue arrived with the people from Heartbreak Valley, all they saw was a mess in Divine Devil Valley. Damn it, where's this mountain? An Ione shouted. It must have been leveled. Sima Yue saw the situation and felt something was wrong. She and Liang Wuming had discussed before if they could deal with it they wouldn't show up, if they couldn't she would bring people over. But she only received a short message from Liang Wuming, because he crushed the communication device she had a response, but she didn't know what happened in the middle. Therefore when she saw the mess she was a little stunned. Could it be that the other party was so strong that those things were useless? Let's not care about that first. Let's save them first. Sima Yue said to the people around her. They didn't need to look for the people from Divine Devil Valley, because there were sounds of fighting everywhere. Oh my god, you black and white are going to heaven. An Ione shouted exaggeratedly when he saw Cloud Cave and the black-clothed men's clothes. But his hands didn't stop moving and in a few moves he rescued the few people from the Divine Devil Valley who were trapped. When the others saw the people from Heartbreak Valley, they cried out excitedly, It's the people from Heartbreak Valley. The people from Heartbreak Valley are here to save us. Everyone must hold on. Ha ha ha. People from Cloud Cave go to hell. The scene changed again, both sides' momentum was tilted again because Sima Yue brought a lot of people, the situation was quickly improved. Sima Yue joined the battle. After she saved a few people, she turned and saw Old Man Devil who was fighting with Ma Yuanming. Master. She shouted in surprise. But Old Man Devil didn't react at all, he was still focused on the battle. Sima Yue reacted immediately, this was a battlefield, he couldn't be distracted. Moreover, she changed her appearance and voice, it was normal that he didn't react. Since Master was back, they would have time to meet up later. Thinking of this, she wanted to end the battle quickly, she had more energy to kill those people. The man in black saw the people from Heartbreak Valley who joined the battle, then looked at the people from Cloud Cave who were almost killed, he gritted his teeth and said, Pull. The people beside him immediately took out a whistle and blew. The man in black heard the sound and said to the people from Cloud Cave, Retreat. Retreat. We've already fought to this point, how can we retreat? But the man in black didn't care about their opinions, he turned and left without hesitation. If you don't want to leave then you can stay, we'll leave. The people from Cloud Cave saw that the man in black really retreated, no matter how unwilling they were, they had to leave. Boss, should we stop them? Fengji asked. Sima Yue looked at the Divine Devil Valley who suffered heavy losses, she asked Liang Wuming, Valley Lord, do you still want to chase after them? They have array-breaking weapons, we can't keep them. Let them go. But for today's grudge, after we've fixed up, we'll definitely go and take revenge. Liang Wuming said. Sima Yue understood why Divine Devil Valley lost when she heard about array-breaking weapons. She naturally understood that they couldn't keep those people without any preparation. Tell everyone don't chase. She ordered. Fengji passed down the message telling them not to chase, but the people from Heartbreak Valley still chased after them for a while, they only stopped when they opened up a space tunnel and left. Sima Yue saw that the people from Cloud Cave had left, she saw Old Man Devil coming over, she shouted happily, Master. Old Man Devil stared at her and said, Young man, although you saved me, you can't call me master so casually. Before he finished, he saw Sima Yue who had disintegrated with 1,000 resonance, his eyes widened. Chapter 1388. Yue? Old Man Devil was shocked, but then he laughed and hugged her. Haha, I didn't expect to see my precious disciple as soon as I came back. Master, don't shout so loudly. I can't let others know that I'm back yet. Huh? We'll talk about the details when we get back. Sima Yue looked at the almost flattened valley. Seems like we can only make do here. I don't think we can live here anymore. As for the rest, let's talk about it later. Let everyone recuperate first. Liang Wuming said. All right. I will first bring some people to set up a defensive array. Everyone can recuperate inside the defensive array. Sima Yue said. All right. I'll have to trouble you then. Liang Wuming said gratefully. Then we'll go first. The few of you follow me. Sima Yue called a few array masters from Heartbreak Valley to set up a relatively large defense array. Old Man Devil's jaw almost dropped to the ground when he saw Sima Yue leave just like that. My Yue is so awesome. Many things have happened in the years you were away. You missed out on her growth. Liang Wuming said, this disciple of yours in just a few short decades has already grown to a height that people can only look up to. What? Old Man Devil was even more shocked. Hurry up and tell me, what has she been through all these years? Therefore, while Sima Yue and the rest were setting up the formation, Liang Wuming told him everything he knew about Sima Yue. After that, he added, these are all things that we know. I believe that there are many things that we don't know. Old Man Devil was stunned. He needed time to digest this information. How did he get such a heaven-defying disciple? Moreover, he didn't seem to have taught her how to refine pills, and the time they spent together wasn't much. Adding it all up, it didn't seem to be more than a few days. He felt a knot in his heart. She was so outstanding, would she still acknowledge an incompetent master like him? However, when he thought of how outstanding she was as her master, he felt proud. After Sima Yue finished setting up the array, she came back to see Old Man Devil frowning for a while and looking happy for a while. Master, what's wrong? Why is the wound still bleeding? Have you taken any pills? She asked with concern. Old Man Devil saw that she was still very concerned about him, so he hugged her and said, Yue, Master is not competent. I let you go through so many things alone. Would you blame me for abandoning you? So this guy is actually thinking about this. She patted his back and said, Master, what are you thinking? A master for a day is a father for life. How could I not recognize you? Sob, 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 Master is so touched. Old Man Devil's devilish cries made everyone in the Divine Devil Valley raise their eyebrows. All right, Master, everyone is looking at you. Sima Yue smelled the scent of blood on his body. She struggled out of his arms and took out some healing pills for him. Hee, I was so surprised that I forgot. But I only have external injuries. It's not serious, so I don't need these pills. Old Man Devil laughed as he took out the pills and ate them. Very quickly the wound stopped bleeding. Not long later, the light of the array appeared outside the array. Ingbai Chuan brought a group of people out. Seeing the mess in the Divine Devil Valley, they were stunned. How could the losses here be so serious? They wanted to go in, but they realized that the array was different. Just as they were about to contact Liang Wuming, the array opened up and allowed them to go in. Ingbai Chuan looked around and didn't care if it was a trap or not. He said to the people behind him, I'll go in and take a look first. If there's nothing, you guys can come in. Let's go in. If anything happens, you'll be able to lead everyone better than us. No, let me go. Ingbai Chuan said, you guys wait here. Junior Valley Master. If there's really something in the valley, then we... Hey, are you guys coming in or not? An I suddenly appeared behind the array, giving everyone a shock. Isn't this one of the top 10 evildoers? He's following Yue, Junior Valley Master. This means that it's safe inside. Someone recognized an I. This meant that it was safe inside. Go in. Ingbai Chuan said, and those people went in one after another. After everyone went in, the array closed up again. After Ingbai Chuan and the rest went in, they saw a group of injured people not long after. Master. Master. Whole Master. Bai Chuan, you guys are back. How are things over there? Liang Wuming asked. Things are going smoothly over there. We killed most of the people in Cloud Cave and those black-robed men, but some escaped. Ingbai Chuan said, Master, why is it so serious here? They have an array-breaking device which messed up our plan. Liang Wuming reminded, go and see if anyone needs help. Yes, Master. Ingbai Chuan was surprised to see Sima Yue. Yue, when did you come back? Sima Yue saw that he was surprised and blinked. I've been back for a while. Why, senior uncle didn't tell you? You're the one who told Master the news? Ing Bai Chuan suddenly realized. He was curious who told Master the news and made him believe it without a doubt and made arrangements based on it. So it was her. We're lucky to have you this time, otherwise our losses would be greater, we might really be exterminated. Look at what you're saying. Although I didn't spend much time in the valley, I'm still considered a member of the Divine Devil Valley. Sima Yue smiled. Are you going to calculate the data? Yes. To see the casualties this time. Then go ahead. I'm going to check on those who are seriously injured. They brushed past each other and went about their own business. Soon the final result was out. Not many people died, but many were injured. As there was an alchemy hall, there was no shortage of pills, so the injuries were nothing. But what gave them a headache now was that the valley was destroyed in the battle. How were they going to live here in the future? That son of a bitch Ma Yuanming, I'll definitely kill him when I see him. Seeing the mess in the Divine Devil Valley, everyone was furious. It's useless to be angry now, wait for us to recover, we'll definitely raise the Cloud Cave's territory and make them pay with their blood. Sima Yue said. But everyone can't stay here forever. The Divine Devil Valley can't be used for a while. Those who are injured need to rest. Liang Wuming said painfully. Senior uncle, since that's the case, why don't we let them rest in the Heartbreak Valley? We're still big inside, let everyone go there first, we'll come back after we're done here. Sima Yue suggested. TXT download address. Mobile reading, book review. For the convenience of your next reading you can bookmark at the top to record the reading record of this. Chapter 1388 Post-War Mess, her suggestion. You'll be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Fanbone would thanks for your support. Chapter 1389. The whole continent knew that White Cloud Cave had joined forces with a mysterious force to attack the Valley of Gods and Demons. The entire continent knew that White Cloud Cave had joined forces with a mysterious faction to attack the demonic God Valley. Many people even went to observe the Valley of Gods and Demons. Seeing the desolation and the almost flat mountaintop, everyone thought that the people of the Valley of Gods and Demons would gnash their teeth in hatred and glare at them angrily. After reorganizing themselves they would attack. But now there was a great show, but it was different from what they had expected. The Valley of Gods and Demons was going to merge with the Broken Intestines Valley to form a new force. This news was too surprising. It was said that the Valley Master of the Broken Intestines Valley, Shimen Feng, had been assassinated and had fallen into a coma. No one could wake him up, and the Broken Intestines Valley had used all its strength to search for Sima Yue. Now that the Valley of Gods and Demons had merged with it, it was probably not a merger but a forceful occupation. This Sima Yue was the Deputy Valley Master of the Broken Intestines Valley. If she came back and found out that the Valley of Gods and Demons had annexed the Broken Intestines Valley, what kind of expression would she have? As the young Valley Master of the Valley of Gods and Demons, would she seek justice for the Broken Intestines Valley? Of course, this was on the premise that she could come back alive. She had never disappeared from the public's eyes for so long. Maybe she was really dead. Many people were excited at the thought of this possibility. They could not afford to offend her, but it was good to know that she was dead, ha ha ha. Moreover, the Broken Intestines Valley that she had built up with her own hands was about to be annexed by her sect. Just thinking about it made people happy. When Sima Yue heard this news in the Broken Intestines Valley, she could not help but twitch the corner of her mouth. Beigong, why am I so hated? She touched her face. She did not seem to have done anything that angered both men and gods, right? Why were there so many people who wished for her to be bad? Beigong Tang was sipping tea with her. The two beauties sat under a big locust tree at the top of the mountain, smelling the faint fragrance of flowers and tasting the fragrant flower tea. They chatted cheerfully and wittily, and the disciples who passed by could not help but take a few more glances. Beigong Tang saw her reaction after hearing the news about the scarlet wasps, and he immediately laughed. Do you think that you have offended a lot of people? Moreover, there are some people who, even if you did not offend them, would not want to see you better than others. I don't think I have offended many people. The people that I dealt with were asking for it. Sima Yue harumphed. In their eyes, you are the one in the wrong. No matter how you look at them, they are not pleasing to the eye. Beigong Tang said. That's true. Those people think differently from us. Sima Yue sighed. Boom, a shattering sound came from afar. She looked in that direction and curled her lips. Those people are really passionate. Of course. Beigong Tang wanted to laugh at this. I didn't realize that you were so charming before. Those disciples were actually willing to form a new force for you. My charm has always been very high. Otherwise, how could I have lured you guys to follow me? Sima Yue said with a smile. She could still remember that when she walked out of the city in Dongshan Nation, she saw those guys waiting by the roadside. At that time, she had nothing in the eyes of others, but these guys knew that she was going to save her grandfather. They knew that the road ahead was dangerous, but they still followed her without hesitation. Did you invite the Guild Alliance? Beigong Tang's words interrupted her memories. Yes, Sima Yue said. I didn't intend to invite them at first, but they said that I'm a figurehead of the Guild Alliance after all. If I don't invite them since the others have already invited them, those old guys will probably make a fuss again. I wonder if those mysterious forces that are against the Guild and us are the same, Beigong Tang said. I don't think so. Sima Yue told her the analysis of Shimen Feng and the others that day. If it was the same force, then this force was too strong. It was terrifyingly strong. Moreover, according to the news she had recently received, there were other mysterious forces interfering in other places. They had even spread throughout the entire middle area. This kind of power was definitely not something that a single force could possess. Especially when they were able to prevent the people in the inner area from finding out their identities. It's really chaotic recently. I don't know how it will develop, Beigong Tang said worriedly. The forces in the inner area are forcefully occupying resources. It's either because they're too ambitious or they're robbing resources from the outside world. Humans are only looking at these things because they can't satisfy their desires. Sima Yue sighed. You're the only one who would be so lazy and push everything away. To be able to let you become a valley master, both sides had to spend a lot of effort to persuade you. I'm not interested in managing others, and I don't have any feelings towards others bowing down to me. Power has never been something I've pursued. Sima Yue said, since ancient times there's a saying, life is precious but love is even more valuable. If it's for freedom, both can be thrown away. Hee, others can't be as carefree as you. Hee, Sima Yue felt that she really did not like these things. Whether it was in the Alchemist Guild, the Alchemy Guild, or even the previous Broken Intestine Valley, she had always been a manager who did not have to do anything. Even if it was reorganized now, she was still only a deputy valley master. Moreover, she did not have to do anything, only a deputy valley master in name. At first, she was not even willing to do this, but they all said earnestly, the Broken Intestine Valley and the Demonic Valley can be fused together because of her. She is the link between them. If she does not do anything, it will not be good for stabilizing the people's hearts. With such a dignified reason, she could not refuse even if she wanted to. Fortunately, everyone understood her and gave her a deputy valley master who did not have to do anything. As long as she provided manpower, she did not have to do anything. Even if you do nothing, just standing there is good enough. Sigh. She let out a long sigh. She never thought that there would be a day when she would become a mascot. 3 months passed in a flash, and the appearance of the Broken Intestine Valley changed drastically. Houses sprung up from the hilltops like bamboo shoots after the rain. Each division had their own small territory not far from each other, but not disturbing each other. Not only that, they also built some houses on the cliff outside the Broken Intestine Valley. No, it was a group of houses, and it was estimated that it could accommodate tens of thousands of people. Sima Yue had never been out, but she could imagine how magnificent the group of buildings would be. In these 2 days, the place that was comparable to a small town gradually became lively, because there were only 3 to 4 days left before the reorganization conference. Many people from different forces had begun to arrive. If it was an ordinary invitation, most people would probably only arrive the day before the reorganization conference. However, they were too curious about the Broken Intestine Valley, so they came early to see what the Broken Intestine Valley looked like. In the end, they were not allowed to enter, and all of them were arranged to the houses outside the valley, saying that they could only enter on the day of the reorganization conference. Since their curiosity could not be satisfied, some people began to court death. Chapter 1390. Crazy Wife, 5th Miss Godly Doctor cough cough. Sima Yue choked from his words. She rolled her eyes at him and said, Master, what nonsense are you spouting? Could it be that I guessed wrong? No way, my intuition is pretty accurate. Old Man Devil giggled and said, Little girl, are you too shy to say it? What's there to be embarrassed about in front of Master? When are you going to give birth to a chubby boy for me to play with? You're old and disrespectful. Sima Yue glared at him. There's nothing between me and Senior, we just started dating. I haven't even found my mother, how can we get married? You're together, that's not bad, a chubby boy is just a matter of time. Ha ha ha. Sima Yue looked at him speechlessly. Master, aren't you going to ask about Senior's situation first? Aren't you worried about him? With you here, what does Master have to worry about? Old Man Devil was in a good mood. Since you're together, you definitely won't let anything happen to him. Just now he was so worried, but now he immediately became a hands-off shopkeeper, he was so relaxed. However, he didn't really ignore it, he sat down beside the chair and said, tell me everything that happened before their fusion and what happened after. I thought you really didn't care anymore. Sima Yue came to his side and sat down, telling him what happened before. Old Man Devil sighed after hearing it. I didn't expect the Devil King to be such a loyal person. If it wasn't for the fact that he didn't want Sima Yue to get hurt, he wouldn't have had to break the contract himself, and naturally, there wouldn't have been anything after that. However, as a man he could understand Mo Sha's actions. No matter what happened to him, he couldn't let the woman he loved get hurt because of him. However, he's regained his identity as the Devil King, so he'll definitely have a lot of connections with the Devil Clan in the future. And from what you said, he still has a lot of grudges in the past, so these are unavoidable. If you're together with him, you'll be dragged into this. Have you thought it through? I've thought about it. Sima Yue said, although I don't like trouble, I'm never afraid of it. Since I chose to be with him, no matter what it is, we will face it together. So what if he was the Demon King over there? Senior Martial Brother is still the former Devil King. Ah, I knew you would say that. As expected of Old Man Devil's disciple, he's never afraid of trouble. Come to think of it, you're much braver than I was when I was young. Old Man Devil said with a sigh. Master, you went to find Aunt Feng. Did you find her? What took you so long? How did he know that something had happened to the Divine Devil Valley? Sima Yue had too many questions in her heart. Back then, I followed the information you gave me and went to find Jun Song. I pestered him to give you information about Aunt Feng. That guy gave me the wrong information at the beginning, but I managed to find her by accident. I didn't expect her to remember me. Seeing that I was injured, she threw me into a pool to recuperate. She didn't expect me to have some enlightenment in there. There were signs of advancement, so I went into closed-door cultivation. By the time I recovered from my injuries and came out of seclusion, she was no longer there. The people who were guarding outside told me that something had happened to the Divine Devil Valley, so I rushed back. No wonder I felt that Master's aura was different from before. Sima Yue said. Then I'll go back first. If there's anything else, let me know. All right. If there was anything she needed, she would definitely tell him. Who asked him to leave for so many years? After Old Man Devil left, she set up a spirit barrier and flashed into the spirit pagoda. Other than Di Wu-Yi, there were only beasts in the spirit pagoda. The moment she went in, she saw the beasts pulling a long face. Seeing her go in, all of them hung their heads. We flipped through all the medical books, but we still can't find a way. Hua Hua said. Although Sima Yue was a little disappointed, but this result wasn't unexpected. It's all right. Even if there isn't one here, there will be another place. I don't believe that the world is so big there won't be a way. She smiled at the beasts. It's been hard on you all these days. I'll reward you all when we get back. You don't wait anymore. We haven't had a good fight for a long time. It'll be great if you can let us have a good fight. Little Seven said. Little Seven, you're still talking. The last time you went alone to take care of the Cloud Cave people. You're still complaining that you haven't fought for a long time. Yaguang said. Yaguang, do you want to exchange pointers with me? Little Seven shook her fist at Yaguang. Yaguang shrunk his neck. He didn't have the guts to fight with Little Seven. Didn't the Divine Devil Valley people just come to the valley? Aren't you busy with the valley's matters? What are you doing here? Thousand Resonance asked. I was chatting with Master just now. I just remembered that I haven't used the thing that Auntie Feng gave me. Sima Yue said, Auntie Ling, she mentioned it before, but I forgot about it. Now that I have time, I'm here to see what it is. Little Spirit, you've kept it right? Little Spirit nodded. With a thought, a box appeared in his hand. For you. He threw the box to Sima Yue. Yu quickly open it and see what's inside. Feng Ruyan's identity was extraordinary. The gift she gave must be very rare. Sima Yue realized that there was a layer of restriction on the box which prevented people from opening it. But this restriction wasn't difficult. She opened the box with some effort. It's purple, what a dense aura. When the beasts saw what was inside, they were all shocked. Even Sima Yue stopped breathing. There was a purple crystal lying in the box. Every corner of the crystal was shining with dazzling light. There was even a purple spirit liquid flowing in the middle of the crystal. Usually, most of the crystals that people saw were white. Very few of them were of other colors. But purple was even rarer. In her 2 lives, she had never seen this kind of crystal. There was a note in the box. It asked her to refine the crystal into liquid and consume it directly. It also told her that her body would suffer a certain amount of pain. Yu, do you want to follow what it says? Little Seven asked. I think that at this time Auntie Feng won't harm me. Sima Yue said, for people at her level, if she wants to kill or threaten someone, she disdains to use any methods. That's true. Due to her trust in Feng Ruyen, she refined the crystal into liquid and drank it all. When the liquid entered her body, she felt as if her entire body was being torn apart. The pain penetrated into her bones. Chapter 1391. She wanted to curse when she thought about how the paper said it would hurt a little and how she rolled on the ground. How was this a little pain? This pain was almost comparable to the pain when Qi Yan tempered her body. Unable to bear it any longer, she took out a towel and bit it to prevent herself from biting herself. She could feel that the purple Y bodies had turned into spiritual energy and began to wander around her body. Every time it flowed through a meridian, the already wide meridian would become much wider. It came to the tower pool and swam around. The spiritual energy inside became more solid. Then, it entered the blood vessels from the tendons into the bone marrow and finally into the bones and blood. The beasts looked at her, who was about to faint from the pain, and asked worriedly, Will you be all right? I won't. Her aura is becoming steadier. Little Seven said. I can feel it too. Although her cultivation hasn't increased, I can feel that her strength has gotten stronger. Thousand Resonance said. His aura seems to have changed. What did she eat? How could it change a person's aura? After a long while, Sima Yue's breathing finally stabilized. At this moment, she looked as if she had just been fished out of the water. Not a single part of her body was dry. She lay on the ground weakly, and the beasts surrounded her. I feel that Yu's aura is similar to Aunt Feng's. Little Roar was very sensitive to auras. He sniffed Sima Yue's body and said, Seems like it. Little Peng said, Could it be that the purple crystal has something to do with Aunt Feng? At this time, Sima Yu subconsciously moved. The aura on her body was completely retracted. She looked no different from her usual self. The aura is gone? Little Roar carefully sniffed. The aura just now was indeed gone. Yu took it back, Little Dream guessed. Yu is too tired. Let her rest. Everyone go outside. Don't look at her. As soon as Qi Yan spoke, all the beasts left. Sima Yue tried her best to stay awake throughout the entire process. However, when the spiritual energy entered her bones and blood, she finally relaxed and fell into a deep sleep. When she woke up again, a day and night had already passed. You're awake. Little Spirit's voice sounded beside her ear. She blinked her eyes, got up from the bed and said, Was it you who put me on the bed? She remembered that she had fallen asleep as soon as she relaxed. At that time she seemed to still be on the ground. And Little Spirit said, Everyone was outside. I felt that you had woken up, so I came in. How do you feel? Sima Yue recalled the bone-piercing pain from before and moved her body, saying, My body feels very comfortable, even better than after advancing. I feel like my strength has increased quite a bit. Can you sense your aura? Little Spirit reminded. Sima Yue sensed it and her eyes widened. She said in surprise, Why is there another aura in my body? And it was so similar to Aunt Feng and the others. Could it be that the thing I ate has something to do with Aunt Feng and the others? You don't know? Little Spirit thought that she had a good relationship with Feng Ruyen and knew something. Why don't you ask your master? He just came back from there, maybe he knows something. Sima Yue thought about it and went to take a bath before going out. When she returned to her room, only a short while had passed. She removed the barrier and went to Old Man Devil's place. Old Man Devil didn't think that she would come looking for him after parting for a short while. He was a little surprised. Master, this disciple has something to ask of you. Seeing Old Man Devil, she went straight to the point. Old Man Devil had never seen her like this before and said, What's wrong? Why didn't you ask just now? I forgot just now. Sima Yue said, Master, are you familiar with this aura? She released the purple aura in her body and looked at him. Seeing his shocked expression, she knew that she would most likely get the answer. Heavens, why do I feel the aura of the Feng people on your body? It seems to be thicker than the bodyguards who protected me. Old Man Devil shouted, I heard them say that this is the aura of the Feng people and represents their status. The thicker the aura, the higher their status. Are you from the Feng people? But aren't you from the Sima family? Sima Yue was shocked. Master, are you sure? Of course. Your master, I am not a child. I won't lie. Old Man Devil said, why, did something happen? Sima Yue was silent for a while and said, on the day of the establishment of Heartbreak Valley, Aunt Feng sent someone to send a gift. A few days ago, when Aunt Ling she came over and saw that I had reached the monarch rank, she reminded me that I could use the things inside. A gift from the Feng people? That must be very good. Old Man Devil said. Sima Yue nodded. After that, I found a time and opened the box to take a look. There was a purple crystal inside and there was a note below, telling me to refine the crystal into a Y body and consume it. After that, I became like this. To be able to leave the Feng people's aura in your body, this crystal must be extraordinary. That's right, there aren't many purple crystals in the entire mainland. I think that even the Feng people don't have many either. Old Man Devil sighed. Aunt Feng. Sima Yue could feel the changes in her body. Not only her aura, even her meridians and her spiritual power had been transformed. Now that you have the Feng people's aura, if you encounter danger in the future, as long as you release your aura, you will be fine. Old Man Devil said. So exaggerated? Sima Yue was astonished. That's because you don't know the status of the Feng people. Old Man Devil looked at his precious disciple, wondering if he should tell her about the Feng people. But thinking about it, she was still a distance away from that level. If she wanted to tell her, Feng Ruyen would naturally tell her. After thinking it through, he patted her shoulder and said, I think that your Aunt Feng really likes you, that's why she gave you such a precious thing. It's like an invisible protection. Feng people. Sima Yue muttered, I will find a way to heal Aunt Feng's injuries as soon as possible. You've always been a good child. Old Man Devil was very gratified. She wasn't the kind of person who only enjoyed the kindness of others. If others treated her well, she would treat them even better. But she wouldn't be kind to others and she wouldn't be soft-hearted to those who hurt her. Vice Valley Lord, the Valley Lord is asking you to go over. Someone shouted from outside the courtyard. It should be Feng asking me to go over to discuss the future. Then I won't disturb Master's rest. You should recover first. After we've finished discussing and everyone has recovered, we'll go and find White Cloud D for revenge. We'll definitely make them pay with their blood. Chapter 1392. Sima Yue came to Shimin Feng's courtyard, and the person who led the way directly took her to the living room. When she went in, she realized that Bai Sheng and the rest were also inside. Feng, why did you call me here? Sima Yue came to the seat beside Shimin Feng and sat down. Feng Ji and the others talked about the situation of the battle, but there wasn't much useful information. I called you here to ask if you have discovered anything, or if the people from Divine Devil Valley have discovered anything. Shimin Feng said. The only time we interacted with them was when we were fighting. Like them, I don't have much information, Sima Yue answered. Then we still know nothing about them. Bai Xing said. It's not like we don't know anything. At least we know their general combat strength. Sima Yue said, the people we choose to attack later can't be weaker than this level. You're right. As long as we have absolute power, defeating them won't be a problem. Shimin Feng said, however, before we attack, we still have to send people to check on them. There's no need. We might not be able to find any useful information if we send someone. Sima Yue said, get someone to bring some scarlet bees over and let them investigate. It'll be easier. All right. Boss, how long are they going to stay here? Dai Yi asked with a frown, thinking that his courtyard was full of people and that woman was always asking him questions. They should be heading back after they've repaired the Divine Devil Valley. Sima Yue said. Seeing Dai Yi's strange expression, he asked, what's wrong? Is there a conflict? Actually, there wasn't any conflict, it's just that. Dai Yi suddenly paused as if he had thought of something that annoyed him. But what? Everyone rarely saw him like this. Nothing. Really? Really? Everyone obviously had a look of, who would believe you? And said to Ni who was beside him, Ni, you speak. Boss, it's like this. Previously, when Dai Yi was in the Divine Devil Valley, he saved a lady. In the end, That lady was mesmerized by him saving the damsel in distress. It was love at first sight, and now she's always pestering him. The smile on Yi's face was infuriating no matter how you looked at it. Someone has fallen in love with him, that's a good thing. You're not young anymore. It's time for you to start a family. Now that you've met a girl who likes you, you should give in to her. Sima Yue teased him seriously. Boss, don't listen to his nonsense. Dai said, it's that woman who keeps talking about saving her life. I'm so annoyed by her. Of course not. I just saw you and her together before the meeting. The two of you were talking and laughing. Alright, I think you're interested in her. Are you afraid that the longer you interact with her, the more you'll like her? Ine said with a grin. Sixth brother, I think you're itching for a beating. Do you want to spar with me? Dai glared at him. You don't have to be embarrassed. As the first one among us 10 brothers to have a crush, we will support you. Isn't that right, Kongren? Kongren nodded and said, I don't mind having a sister-in-law. It's hard to imagine how your family will look like in the future. Old Bai also joined in. You guys. Dai glared at them and said, we're discussing serious matters. Don't be funny. We're discussing serious matters too. Sima Yue said, we're together. Your marriage is also the valley's serious matter. Boss. Dai looked at Sima Yue. If she continued talking, he would look for the ground and hide in it. Sima Yue laughed and said, alright, I won't tease you anymore. But it's not possible for them to leave earlier. After all, the Divine Devil Valley hasn't recovered yet. Will take some time for it to recover. Moreover, the focus will be on dealing with White Cloud D recently. The reconstruction will be slower. The Divine Devil Valley has been destroyed to such an extent. Can it be rebuilt? Ine asked. That depends on Master and the others. Anyway, I'm just a junior Valley Master. Sima Yue shrugged. It's good that you're reliable during crucial moments. Shurchen said. If it wasn't for her, the Junior Valley Master, the Divine Devil Valley wouldn't be able to escape this disaster. After that, Sima Yue called out a lot of Scarlet Bees and sent someone to bring them to White Cloud D's territory. In the following days, she spent most of her time in her own courtyard. She helped Sima Luxian recuperate while sorting out the news from the Scarlet Bees. Then she passed it to Shimin Feng and Liang Wu Ming. Old Man Devil would sometimes come over to check on Wu Lingyu's situation. When he saw the thick stack of news that she sorted out every day, he knew that it was all from the Scarlet Bees. He still remembered how shocked he was when he first found out that she had Scarlet Bees. He got a bottle of scarlet honey and she gave him some Scarlet Bees. He was so happy that he couldn't find North. Looking at it now, he was so easily satisfied back then. Sima Yue saw that Old Man Devil's eyes kept flashing. She didn't know what he was thinking about. She couldn't sort out the news under his stare, so she put down the pen in her hand and asked, Master, are you not going to see Senior Brother this time? Old Man Devil came back to his senses and said seriously, I'm not here to see him this time. I'm here to find you. You come here every day. What do you want to talk to me about today? Do you know the situation in the valley recently? Old Man Devil asked. Valley? Divine Devil Valley? I don't care about the things there. I don't know what you're talking about. Sima Yue said. It's not Divine Devil Valley. It's here. It's about Divine Devil Valley and Heartbreak Valley. Old Man Devil said. Heartbreak Valley and Divine Devil Valley? Sima Yue was a little surprised. I haven't been out recently and haven't asked about the news here. What's wrong? Both sides don't get along well? No, both sides get along well. Old Man Devil said. It wasn't just good, it was good beyond everyone's expectations. Since Divine Devil Valley was called Divine Devil Valley, it meant that they didn't have a clear view of right and wrong. Everything depended on their mood and was very casual. And the people in Heartbreak Valley, except for the Shimin family, were almost all from Bloodfiend City. People who used to live on the edge of a knife were much more forthright. When both sides got along, they found that they were very compatible. And because there was Sima Yue who they both admired, it could be said that they were getting more and more congenial. Sima Yue saw that he was hesitating and said, Master, if there's anything you want to say, just say it. Actually, this isn't what I want to say. They asked me to ask for your opinion. Old Man Devil declared. Sima Yue smiled and said, I know. Say it. That, they said, can Divine Devil Valley and Heartbreak Valley be combined? Old Man Devil finally said the purpose of this visit. Chapter 1393. Sima Yue blinked in disbelief when she heard what he said. Copy URL access. Master, what did you say? The combined forces of the two valleys? Didn't that mean fusion? Would the Divine Devil Valley agree? It's not my idea either. It's the idea of those guys down there. Old Man Devil continued. Recently, the disciples of the two valleys got along very well. Later on, I don't know who mentioned that the Divine Devil Valley is not suitable for people to live in, so why not just stay here? Speaking of this, he could not help but praise Sima Yue for being so good at choosing the location. With the natural barrier outside, it would not be easy for others to attack. It was no wonder that the people from Divine Devil Valley fell in love with this place. If Sima Yue knew what he was thinking, she would give them a speechless look. Back then, in order to research the antidote here, she had spent a lot of effort. In the end, she had to cooperate with Shi Qianji to get it done. Without the antidote, who would be able to walk around freely? Master, did Martial Uncle send you here? Sima Yue asked. Yes. That group of old fellows felt embarrassed and said that she was his disciple, but he had to say it. Then do you know much about Heartbreak Valley? Sima Yue asked again. Old Man Devil paused. Let's put it this way, Master. You know that Feng Er and I have a special relationship. When we first established this Heartbreak Valley, it was for revenge. Sima Yue continued. So, the people we chose were all from Bloodfiend City and they had placed their lives in my hands. I give them a stable life and keep them safe, but at the same time, when I need them, they must rush forward. Therefore, when everyone entered the valley, they swore not to do anything that would harm me in Heartbreak Valley. She didn't know if Old Man Devil was stunned by her imposing manner or her words, but he didn't say anything for a while. Sima Yue continued. So, Master, it's not that I don't agree with the merger of the two forces, but the Divine Devil Valley might not be able to accept these requests. After all, no one wants to be bound by an oath. Your idea is really good. With the oath, the disciples in the valley naturally wouldn't dare to betray the sect. However, ordinary powers don't have these things. I'm only like this because of special circumstances. Sima Yue said, although I became the junior valley master of the Divine Devil Valley because of Master and the Blood Ring, I can't force the disciples of the valley because of that. Master, please convey my intentions to Martial Uncle and everyone else. Alright, then I'll go back and tell them. Old Man Devil said as he left. Sima Yue watched Old Man Devil's back as he left and sighed in her heart. It was actually a good thing for the two forces to merge at this time. However, if they had to swear an oath because of this, they probably wouldn't agree. However, she underestimated her position in the valley. If it was only the attraction of Heartbreak Valley to them, the disciples of Divine Devil Valley might have retreated after knowing that they had to swear an oath to enter the sect. However, someone said that if Sima Yue had to choose between the two valleys, which one would she choose? The answer was self-evident. She had been running around in Heartbreak Valley for so many years and built up this force single-handedly. How could she give up Heartbreak Valley? Therefore, she would most likely give up Divine Devil Valley and not be the junior valley master of Divine Devil Valley. Once they thought of this situation, those who were still uncomfortable with the oath also let it go and expressed that they didn't care. Moreover, the oath wasn't too much at all. It was just to make them swear that they wouldn't do anything wrong to the valley. There were no other restrictions. Those who had experienced so many things were definitely loyal and devoted people. Naturally, they wouldn't betray. However, there were also people who made a request. It couldn't be said that Divine Devil Valley joined Heartbreak Valley. Instead, it was the reorganization and integration of the two forces to form a new force. When Sima Yue heard the news from Old Man Devil, her eyes widened and shouted in disbelief. No way. Are they that crazy? That's because you don't know your position in their hearts. Old Man Devil snorted. I don't know who spread the news that you want to give up the Junior Valley Master position and leave Divine Devil Valley. You will only be the Vice Valley Lord of Heartbreak Valley in the future. Those guys couldn't accept it when they heard it. In the end, everyone agreed to the reorganization proposal. How is it? Things are already like this. What do you say now? This? Sima Yue was speechless. How could such news spread? I thought this was just a joke, so I didn't discuss it with Feng Er and the rest. The people of Heartbreak Valley are still very willing. Old Man Devil continued. I think they must have already known about this news. Sima Yue also felt that if this news spread among the disciples, then as a manager, it was impossible for them not to know about it. They didn't look for her. She guessed that they wanted to leave this matter to her to decide. I'll go out and take a look. Sima Yue tidied up the news, then went out with Old Man Devil. Heartbreak Valley was indeed different from before. With more people from Divine Devil Valley, it was livelier. People from Heartbreak Valley and Divine Devil Valley could be seen everywhere. They were either sparring or drinking and chatting together. It wasn't an ordinary harmony. They're getting along so well? She was surprised. You're busy in your courtyard all day. Of course you don't know. I think they're birds of a feather. Old Man Devil crossed his arms in front of his chest and snorted. Cough cough. What he meant was that the people of Heartbreak Valley and Divine Devil Valley were jackals of the same tribe. That was why they could walk together. She walked around. Other than Dai being chased by a girl all over the valley, she didn't see any disharmonious scenes. Alright, I'll go and discuss with Feng and the rest. Then I'll go and discuss with Senior Uncle. That means you agree with me. Then I'll go and tell them. The two of them separated in the valley. Sima Yue sent a notice to all the managers on the way to the official meeting hall of Heartbreak Valley, asking them to go for a meeting immediately. When she arrived, the others were there too. They were all waiting for her in the meeting hall. What do you think about the Divine Devil Valley? She went straight to the point and asked. I think it's pretty good. Divine Devil Valley is very powerful, especially with a lot of professional masters. And this is what we're lacking. If we can merge together, our power will definitely go up another level. Bai Sheng said. Old Bai, you're the one who spread the news that I'll push down the Junior Valley Master of Divine Devil Valley, right? Sima Yue suddenly asked. Chapter 1394. Bai Sheng didn't object to her guesses and only chuckled twice. Boss, actually Old Bai didn't do anything. He only asked someone to make a guess when those people were chatting. Later on, I don't know what happened, but the Divine Devil Valley side said that you're leaving the Divine Devil Valley. Sima Yue's mouth twitched. Did these guys dare to say that they did not spread the news by making use of the fact that rumors were spreading? Do you really plan to merge with them? She asked. Feng, do you know about this? Sister, don't be angry. I know about this too. Shimin Feng continued. Furthermore, this matter was brought up by the Divine Devil Valley's people. Old Bai was merely pushing the boat along with the current. Besides, the current situation was so chaotic. After merging, they would be stronger and more capable of protecting themselves. Besides, you can't let go of that side, can you? Sima Yue sighed. What Shimin Feng said was right. Although she didn't have much contact with Divine Devil Valley after coming to this continent, but every bit of contact was warm. When they were in the Ninth Star Ocean, they heard that she went to the Violet Water Dragon clan. Liang Wuming followed her without hesitation. Although he said it was for the sake of her master, his concern was genuine. The people of Divine Devil Valley respected her and cared for her, even if they had never met her before. Such a Divine Devil Valley in this chaotic world, under the situation where mysterious forces kept interfering in the middle regions, how could she let it go? Divine Devil Valley and Heartbreak Valley are not weak, but the mainland is getting more and more chaotic and more sects are being destroyed. Although the Divine Devil Valley had an extraordinary status, it was precisely because there were so many professional masters that they were targeted by those forces. You can save them for a while, but you can't be there all the time. Bai Sheng said. I understand. Sima Yue sighed again, but to let them integrate into Heartbreak Valley, I always feel like I'm letting them down. What's more, if the founder of Divine Devil Valley knew about it, I'm afraid he would crawl out of his grave and beat me up. Sister, you misunderstood what we meant. Shimin Feng explained. We didn't say to let them integrate into Heartbreak Valley. Not going to blend in? Yes. We are planning to rebuild a force. Divine Devil Valley and Heartbreak Valley will be an important part of this force. It's restructuring, not integration. Sima Yue was stunned and looked at them in shock. Are you really willing? If the Divine Devil Valley was integrated, then the one in charge would still be the people from Heartbreak Valley. However, if it was a reorganization, it might be different. At most, they would only have half the right to speak. This was something that not everyone could accept. We're not people who are greedy for power, so it doesn't matter if we have more or less power, Shimin Feng said. Sima Yue also understood that these guys were being forced to do something beyond their abilities. They had no choice but to support the entire Heartbreak Valley when they met him who didn't want to take care of these things. Since you all agree and the other side also agrees, do as you please. After saying that, she called out to the guards outside, Men, go and invite my martial uncle and master over. It's best if you invite the hall master and the others as well. Yes, Vice Valley Lord. The people outside answered and left. After a while, Liang Wuming brought in a group of Divine Devil Valley's hall masters and elders. The meeting hall was already filled with chairs. The people from Heartbreak Valley sat on one side. After the people from Divine Devil Valley arrived, Liang Wu Ming sat beside Shimin Feng, and the rest of the people sat on the other side. Marshal Uncle, Master, Hall Masters and Elders, everyone knows why I invited you here today. Let's not beat around the bush. Sima Yue said with a smile, I don't know what you think about this matter. The world is so chaotic now. Our forces are neither low nor high in this chaotic world. It's best if we can form a force. Liang Wu Ming said. His words were similar to Bai Sheng's thoughts. It seemed that this was the general trend. After that, Liang Wu Ming explained the thoughts of the people from Divine Devil Valley. They agreed to restructure, but they didn't agree to integrate. This was the result of their discussion. This condition was also within Heartbreak Valley's expectation and plan. So both parties reached an agreement quickly. The speed was so fast that Sima Yue was speechless. She looked at both parties who were talking passionately in surprise. In just a short hour, this matter was completely settled. After that, both parties looked at her who had been quiet and said, Yue, what do you think? They even asked her what she thought. They had already decided, and they still asked her what she thought? I don't have any opinion. You can decide on this matter. All right, since that's the case, then we'll follow the model we discussed. Liang Wu Ming said. All right. Soon, the people from Divine Devil Valley and Heartbreak Valley received the news. They said that the two forces would be combined into one force. No one would integrate with anyone, and no one would be better than anyone. Everyone would be on equal terms and help each other. As for the location, it was chosen at Heartbreak Valley. Both parties were happy. The people from Heartbreak Valley thought that with the addition of Divine Devil Valley, wouldn't there be more pills and spirit weapons in the future? And the people from Divine Devil Valley thought that since the people from Heartbreak Valley came from Blood Fiend City, their combat power would naturally be stronger than the previous Outer Valley disciples. With them, their safety would be more assured. So, everything was put on the agenda. In order to announce the integration of the two forces to the world, they decided to make a big fuss. They invited all the forces who were close to them as guests to witness their reorganization ceremony. And the matter of taking revenge on Cloud Cave was postponed. Because the disciples in the valley had to choose a mountain to build a house. They couldn't continue to live in tents after the reorganization. Cloud Cave would naturally not be able to escape once they were done with the reorganization. So the invitations were sent out one by one. The disciples in the valley were busy with construction. For this ceremony, they even specially chose a wider valley and flattened the surrounding mountains to build a huge square. Sima Yue couldn't help but twitch her mouth when she looked at the almost endless square. Such a big square, it wouldn't be a problem to accommodate hundreds of thousands of people. And those poisonous creatures that originally lived in the valley were frightened by their battle array. They thought they were going to exterminate them. Fortunately, Sima Yue assured them that she wouldn't hurt them. On the contrary, she would protect them. So, under the astonished gaze of the Divine Devil Valley's disciples, the poisonous creatures in Heartbreak Valley and them lived in harmony. At this time there was a huge commotion outside the valley. Whether they had an invitation or not, they all turned their attention to Heartbreak Valley. Chapter 1395. The whole continent knew that Cloud Cave had joined forces with a mysterious force to attack Divine Devil Valley. Quite a number of people went to observe the Divine Devil Valley. Seeing the desolation and the almost flat mountain, everyone thought that the Divine Devil Valley would definitely gnash their teeth in hatred and rage, and after a round of reorganization they would attack back. Everyone thought that there would be another great show to watch. But now there was a big show, but it was different from what they had expected. Divine Devil Valley was going to merge with Heartbreak Valley to form a new force. This news was too surprising. It was said that the Valley Lord of Heartbreak Valley, Shimin Feng, was assassinated and seriously injured. No one could wake him up. The power of Heartbreak Valley was used to find Sima Yue. If the Divine Devil Valley were to merge with it now, it wouldn't be a merge but a forceful occupation. Tiske, this Sima Yue was the Vice Valley Lord of Heartbreak Valley. If she came back and found out that Divine Devil Valley had swallowed Heartbreak Valley, who knew what expression she would have? As the Junior Valley Master of Divine Devil Valley, would she seek justice for Heartbreak Valley? Of course, the premise was that she could come back alive. She had never disappeared from the public eye for so long. Perhaps she really was dead. Many people were excited when they thought of this possibility. They couldn't afford to offend her, but it would be good to know that she was dead. Ah! Moreover, the Heartbreak Valley that she had created with her own hands was about to be annexed by her sect. Just thinking about it made her happy. When Sima Yue heard the news in Heartbreak Valley, she could not help but twitch her mouth. Beigong, am I that hateful? She touched her face. She didn't seem to have done anything that would incur the wrath of the gods, did she? Why were there so many people who wished for him to be in trouble? Beigong Tang was currently sipping tea with her. The two beauties sat under a large locust tree at the peak of the mountain, smelling the faint fragrance of the flowers and tasting the fragrant flower tea. They chatted and laughed casually, and the disciples passing by couldn't help but take a few more glances. Beigong Tang saw her reaction after hearing the news about the scarlet bees, and laughed out loud. Do you think you haven't offended enough people? And some people, even if you didn't offend them, they wouldn't want you to be better than others. I don't think I've offended many people. Those people that I taught a lesson to were asking for it. Sima Yue snorted. Anyway, in their eyes, you're the one who's wrong. You just can't stand it. Beigong Tang said. You're right. Those people's thinking is different from ours. Sima Yue sighed. Boom. A shattering sound came from a distance. She looked over and pursed her lips. Those people are really passionate. That's right. Speaking of this, Beigong Tang wanted to laugh. In the past, I didn't realize that you were so charming. Those disciples were actually willing to form a new power for you. My charm has always been very high. Otherwise, why would I be able to lure you guys to follow me? Sima Yue said with a smile. Until now, she still remembered that when she was in Dongqin country, she had walked out of the city and saw a few fellows waiting by the roadside. At that time, he had nothing in the eyes of others, but these guys clearly knew that he was going to save his grandfather. They clearly knew that the road ahead was dangerous, but they still followed him without hesitation. Did the Guild Alliance invite them? Beigong Tang's words interrupted her memories. They invited them. Sima Yue said, at first I didn't plan to invite them. However, they said that I'm still a figurehead of the Guild Alliance. If I didn't invite them, those old fellows would probably make a fuss again. I don't know if those mysterious powers dealing with the Guild Alliance and us are the same. Beigong Tang said. I don't think so. Sima Yue told her about Shiman Feng's analysis that day. If it was the same power, then this power was too strong. It was so strong that it was terrifying. Furthermore, according to the news that she had received recently, there were other mysterious powers interfering in other places. They even covered the entire inner regions. This kind of power was definitely not something that a single power could possess. Especially, they could do it without letting the people in the inner regions find out about their identities. It's really chaotic recently. I don't know how it will develop. Beigong Tang said worriedly. The powers in the inner regions are either too ambitious or they're snatching resources from the outer regions. Look at these people. It's all because they can't satisfy their desires. Sima Yue sighed. Only someone like you would be so lazy, pushing everything to the back of your mind. To be able to let you be a figurehead of the Valley Lord, it took a lot of effort from both sides to get you. I'm not interested in managing others. I also don't feel that others are under my feet. I've never been interested in power. Sima Yue said, there's a saying since ancient times. Life is precious, love is even more valuable. If it's for freedom, both can be given up. Hee, others can't be as free and easy as you. Hee, Sima Yue felt that she really didn't like these things. No matter if it was the Alchemist Guild or the Pill Subdivision, or even the Heartbreak Valley in the past, she was always a figurehead. Even if it was reorganized now, she was still only a Deputy Valley Lord. Moreover, it was a Deputy Valley Lord who didn't have to do anything and only had a reputation. Initially, she wasn't even willing to do this. However, they all said earnestly, Heartbreak Valley and Divine Devil Valley can be merged because of her. She's the link in the middle. If she doesn't care about anything, it's not good for stabilizing people's hearts. With such a dignified reason, she couldn't reject it even if she wanted to. Fortunately, everyone understood her and gave her a Deputy Valley Lord who didn't have to care about anything. As long as she provided people, she didn't have to do anything. Even if you don't do anything, it's good to just stand there. Sigh. She let out a long sigh. She didn't expect that she would be a mascot one day. 3 months passed in the blink of an eye. The appearance of Heartbreak Valley changed greatly. Houses sprang up like bamboo shoots after the rain on each mountain. Each hall had its own small area. They were not far from each other, but they did not disturb each other. Not only that, they also built some houses on the cliff outside Heartbreak Valley. No, it was a group of houses. It was estimated that tens of thousands of people could live in it. Sima Yue didn't go out before, but she could imagine how magnificent the group of buildings would be. In these 2 days, the place that was comparable to a small town gradually became lively. Because there were only 3 or 4 days left before the reorganization meeting, many people from different forces had begun to come here. If it was a normal invitation, it was estimated that everyone would only arrive the day before the conference. However, they were too curious about Heartbreak Valley. They were too curious about this matter, so they came early. They wanted to see what Heartbreak Valley looked like. In the end, they weren't allowed to enter. They all settled in the houses outside the valley, saying that they could only enter on the day itself. Their curiosity couldn't be satisfied, so some people began to court death. Chapter 1396. On this day, it was Shi Chen's turn to be in charge of the safety of the guests outside the valley. He had just changed shifts with NINE and was currently patrolling around to understand the situation. Suddenly, the sound of an argument could be heard from a small courtyard. "Since you invited us here, you should let us in. Don't you think it's not good to reject us here?" "That's right. What you're doing is really too rude. You'd better deliver the antidote to us immediately, or don't blame us for being impolite. Dear guests, please do not be angry. We enter the valley at the same time." Boom! Bang! Before that person could finish his words, he heard the sound of a beating coming from inside. Obviously, the one being beaten was a disciple of the valley. "Elder Shi, they are from the Jianghu clan." The guard beside Shi Chen said. "Let's go and take a look." Shi Chen quickly walked over and pushed open the door. He saw the disciple who had been beaten to the ground. 2 men in green robes stood to the side. There was another person beside the disciple who had been beaten and was about to continue beating him. The people in the courtyard did not expect someone to suddenly barge in. The people who came 2 days ago would knock on the door first. "Who are you?" Shi Chen glanced at the person on the ground and took a few steps forward to stand in front of him, separating him from the people of Jianghu clan. The other people who followed them in went to help the people on the ground up. "What happened?" Shi Chen asked. "Elder Shi, they insist on wanting the valley's detoxification pill, saying that they want to go in and take a look," the person who was beaten said. The 3 men in green robes looked at Shi Chen, raised their chins and said arrogantly, "Elder? Then your status shouldn't be low. We want to go into the valley for a tour, please arrange it." The invitation clearly states that the guests will only be invited into the valley on the day of the conference. Therefore, forgive us for not being able to make this exception for you. Shi Chen said indifferently. "So you're not willing?" the man in the middle asked in a deep voice. "These are the rules." Shi Chen was still the same. He didn't change because of the other party's anger. "Good. What an arrogant divine devil valley. Aren't you afraid that we will spread your name? Are you threatening us?" Shi Chen smiled, but there was no warmth in his eyes. "We're not threatening you. It's you who don't know etiquette and treat your guests like this. If you don't give us an explanation today, then don't blame us for being impolite." "Really?" The smile on Shi Chen's face slowly faded, and his gaze gradually turned cold. "For a nominal elder like you, if I tell your superiors, you will be stripped of your position, right? If you don't want us to tell anyone about this, then obediently send the antidote over and take us to the valley for a tour. Then we'll let bygones be bygones." The gazes of the people behind Shi Chen changed as they looked at the 3 of them. It was as if they were looking at fools. Where did these idiots come from? Were they really sure that they wouldn't offend the guests at this time? "Are you done?" Shi Chen looked at them. "If you're done, then stay here. If you dare to treat my disciples like this again, then you don't have to attend the banquet 2 days later." "What do you mean?" "It's literally what it means. If you don't have enough IQ, don't show it off." Being scolded like this, those people were angry and shouted, "You're looking for death." "No, I've never looked for death," Shi Chen said, "but if others want to look for death, I won't object." Man. Following a loud shout, a group of people ran out and surrounded them. "Senior brother, what's wrong? These people came to provoke us and beat up our brothers. Everyone must teach them a lesson today." "Senior brother, these people are from Divine Devil Valley. They are the masters here. It's not good for us to do this, right?" someone said softly. It seemed that there was still someone with brains. "What master?" the so-called senior brother scolded. "They're just a few patrollers in the valley. They don't have high positions. Even if we beat them up, Heartbreak Valley and Divine Devil Valley wouldn't dare to say anything." "That's right. We're guests that they invited. Would they do anything to us just because we beat up a few disciples? Yes. Since they don't want to be masters, then don't blame us. By then, they might even thank us for helping them teach these blind people a lesson. The people from Heartbreak Valley and Divine Devil Valley were enraged when they heard what they said. Elder Shurchin had no position? He wanted to teach them a lesson on behalf of the valley? Did they really think that they could do whatever they wanted just because they were guests? And those people rushed up and wanted to deal with them. Although you're guests, I have to say that even if you're looking for death, you shouldn't look for it this way. Shurchin said and quickly attacked those people. Don't be fooled by his gentle appearance. His strength wasn't low. Especially since everyone didn't expect him to make a move. They were stunned for a moment. By the time everyone reacted, Jianghu sect's people were all defeated. How dare you hit us? The people on the ground covered their chests or stomachs as they stared at Shurchin with murderous eyes. Hitting you is a light punishment. Shurchin patted the non-existent dust on his clothes and said faintly, "You beat up my disciples as you wish. Do you really think that we can't do anything to you? What kind of hospitality is this?" The people on the ground shouted when they saw more and more people coming to watch. The people outside who didn't know the truth had different expressions when they saw Shurchin and gang hitting the guests. They're too arrogant. As the host, how can they attack the guests? That's right. They're too arrogant. No matter what, they're still guests. How can the host hit the guest? If they have such an attitude, can we still come out after entering the valley? This? Jianghu sect's people heard the commotion outside and were pleased with themselves. As long as everyone stood on their side, Divine Devil Valley would become unreasonable even if they were reasonable. By then, would they still be afraid that the higher-ups wouldn't punish them? Are you scared? That eldest senior brother looked at Shurchin. If you're afraid, then quickly kneel down and kowtow to me. Maybe I'm kind-hearted, and when your valley deals with you later, I can even put in a good word for you. Oh, is that so? Shurchin sneered. What's going on? Ing Baichuan's voice came from the back of the crowd. Everyone opened up a path for him and he brought the patrol team in. Junior Valley Master, these people are too arrogant. We were just asking them nicely and they actually beat us up. Divine Devil Valley has such a big temper. Just anyone dared to beat us up. Shouldn't you give us an explanation? Reading background default settings: classic light blue, classic light gray, classic green, classic bright yellow, dark blue, ocean, autumn green, classic simple, elegant, red powder, aristocratic, family, red talk, thick sea, vast sky, broken heart, past snow, white world, gray world, font color default settings: white, red, green, blue, brown, font size default settings: small, medium, large, speed 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 1 0, mouse scroll description 1 to 10, 1 is the slowest, 10 is the fastest. Chapter 1397. Many people knew Ing Baichuan. Since he was the junior valley master of the Divine Devil Valley, even if the two forces merged, his position in the new force wouldn't be low. Now that he was here, those people were doomed. If he dared to hit a guest before the banquet, he might be expelled from the valley. Ing Baichuan looked at the people in the courtyard and said in a deep voice, "What kind of explanation do you want? This person actually dared to beat us up, at least break his legs. Then banish him from the valley." That's right. Someone chimed in, "We are your guests. I was actually beaten up by your people in your territory. This won't sound good if word gets out. Junior Valley Master, you have always been fair and just. I don't think you will disappoint everyone, right?" Jianghu sect's senior brother said. When Ing Baichuan came in front of Shurchin, everyone thought that he was going to question him and punish him. They were all waiting for Shurchin's tragic end. However, Ing Baichuan bowed in front of him and said, "Baichuan greets Elder Shur." Elder? Was he really an elder? Isn't it just in name? Jianghu sect's people shouted. What title? Ing Baichuan frowned. Isn't that so? Will you let the elders with real power in the valley do the security work? Haha, then I'm really sorry to disappoint you. Shurchin smiled faintly. Don't you know that Heartbreak Valley used to have 10 elders? The 10 great elders of Heartbreak Valley? Aren't they the 10 great villains back then? Could he be one of them? That's right. The person behind Shurchin said. Elder Shur, what exactly is going on? Ing Baichuan naturally wouldn't listen to the other party's words and turned to ask Shurchin. The invitation clearly states that you can only enter the valley on the day of the banquet, but these people insist on going in early. When I arrived, they were asking a disciple for an antidote. Shurchin said, they dared to hit my valley's disciples. I didn't kill them immediately because they were guests. The onlookers outside suddenly realized that these people were actually plucking the fur from the tiger. No wonder they were beaten up. Who in the mainland didn't know that Heartbreak Valley and Divine Devil Valley were people who were protective of their own people? They actually dared to beat up their people. Just beating them up was already considered good. When Ing Baichuan and the people who came with him heard that their people were beaten, Wei said with a straight face, "What do you guys say?" The people from Jianghu sect thought that Shurchen was an insignificant person and others might not believe what he said. So even if they caused trouble, as long as they insisted on being reasonable, Heartbreak Valley and Divine Devil Valley would definitely apologize to them. But who would have thought that Shurchen would actually be one of the 10 great elders? Moreover, he was once one of the 10 great evils. Who hadn't heard of their reputation? Would he dare to lie now? Elder Shur, Junior Valley Master, this is actually a misunderstanding. The other party finally chose to give in. We were too curious about this Heartbreak Valley, so we were impulsive and wanted to go in early. We didn't want to hit him. We just accidentally touched him when we were talking. His ability to lie through his teeth wasn't weak at all. Ing Baichuan didn't believe his nonsense and said to Shurchen, "Elder Shur, how do you think we should deal with this?" Although these people were in the wrong first, they were beaten up. They are guests invited by the valley. I think we should just let it go. There's a second time. Before Shurchen finished speaking, he felt a movement in his space ring. He took out the Sun Mother Stone and inserted spiritual energy. Sima Yuyue's voice came from inside. "Elder Shur. Vice Valley Lord, what's the matter?" Shurchen asked, but he could roughly guess. "Since Jianghu sect dared to beat up our disciples in our territory, I think they don't want to be on good terms with us anymore. Since that's the case, take back their invitation and chase them out of the town. Don't let them come near again. Also, who said that he wanted to break your legs? Break his legs and throw them out. At the same time, let those restless people know that the rules of Paramount Valley aren't set for nothing. Our disciples can't be bullied by anyone." Shurchen's greeting had already revealed the identity of the person who spoke. He didn't expect her to directly give the order. Paramount Valley? Was she talking about their reorganized force? This name was really arrogant. Shurchen kept the Sun Mother Stone and said to the people beside him, "Did you hear what the Vice Valley Lord said? I don't need to repeat it, right?" Yes. Those disciples didn't expect to hear Sima Yoyue's voice. Her words were more sacred than an imperial edict to them. She said to throw them out. Who would say no? Even Shurchen, who wanted to let this matter go for the sake of the big picture, was smiling now. He was in a good mood. Jianghu sect saw Heartbreak Valley's disciples surrounding them and shouted, "You can't do this. We are your guests. It was you who invited us here. Our Vice Valley Lord said that you are no longer our guests. Now please leave this place." "No, you can't do this." The disciples of Heartbreak Valley said please, but their actions were not ambiguous at all. After beating the person up, they directly carried the person out of the town. After flying far away, they threw the person out. Get lost. You better take a detour when you see Paramount Valley's disciples. You can't afford to offend even the lowest level disciples. When the onlookers saw that they actually threw those people out, their opinions of them changed quite a bit. They didn't hesitate to offend their invited guests for the sake of their disciples who were beaten up. Not everyone had such domineering attitude, but those people asked for it. They actually did such a brainless thing. It would be weird if they didn't dare to leave. When those people were discussing this matter, many of them had the same idea, but they killed the idea of investing in them in the cradle. It was better not to touch the reverse scale of such a strong force that had rules and was protective of their own. Otherwise they would end up like those people. 2 days later, Heartbreak Valley and Divine Devil Valley's reorganization officially arrived. Early in the morning, each force received the antidote pills. The number of pills was exactly the number of people they had. Dear guests, the antidote pills in your hands are temporary antidotes. It can ensure your safety for 2 days. A steward said, after everyone enters, there will naturally be someone to lead the way for you. Everyone please. No one responded immediately after the steward finished speaking. Although many of them had already taken the pills, they still felt weak as they stood at the edge of the cliff and looked down at the valley filled with poison. What if the antidote didn't work? Chapter 1398. Everyone please. The person in charge said when he saw that no one was moving. This, Steward Yuan, is this antidote really effective? Someone asked the question in a low voice. That's right. If this pill doesn't work, won't we all die after we go in? Since someone said so, the others also had the same idea. If Heartbreak Valley and Divine Devil Valley wanted to kill them, as long as they let them in and gave them the wrong antidote, would they still be able to come out alive? Everyone, all of you are from the Divine Devil Valley. Do you think that our Divine Devil Valley would do such a thing? Yuan Haibin said. Ah. Old Yuan, don't be angry. Someone laughed and walked over. It's the Kong Valley. I didn't think that even the Kong Valley would be invited. I heard that the relationship between Kong Valley and Heartbreak Valley is very good. They will definitely come at this time. Kong Valley Lord, I didn't think that you would personally come. Yuan Haibin cupped his hands towards Kong Jingxin. Dad, let's go in quickly. Kong Sengyi held Kong Jingxin's arm and said, I know you're anxious to see that kid. Kong Jingxin doted on his daughter very much and said, Old Yuan will go in first. See you later. Void Valley Lord, please. The people of the Kong Valley took out the antidote and ate it. Then they sat on the flying beasts that were flying at the edge of the cliff and flew towards the bottom of the valley. When the people at the cliff saw that the Kong Valley people did not react to the poison barrier, they knew that the antidote was real. Thus they all took out the antidote and ate it. Then they sat on the flying beasts that were arranged and entered the valley. The flying beast took the people directly to the designated location and then returned to pick up the next wave of people. The arriving guests were welcomed by the disciples and brought into the sphere of influence of Heartbreak Valley. Paramount Valley. Someone noticed that not far from where they were, there was a stone tablet with these 3 words engraved on it. After Divine Devil Valley and Heartbreak Valley merged, they formed a new force, Paramount Valley. This way, please. After a brief introduction, the disciple led everyone to the huge open-air plaza. It was really called Paramount Valley. However, Heartbreak Valley and Divine Devil Valley were both important forces in the middle region. Now that they had merged, their strength was close to the inner region's forces. It wasn't an exaggeration to call them that. Excuse me, where are we going now? Can we take a look around the valley? Someone asked curiously. Let's go to the plaza now. In a while we will invite everyone to witness the fusion of our 2 forces. Our Valley Lord, Vice Valley Lord, Elders and Hall Masters will come to meet everyone. Then we can't visit? You can visit it. The disciple who led the way explained, In the morning, you will participate in our succession ceremony. At noon there will be a light meal. In the afternoon you can move freely in the valley. In the evening there will be a grand banquet. Hearing such an arrangement, everyone was not in a hurry to visit. They followed the guide to the square, but along the way they also saw a lot of unique scenery in Heartbreak Valley. Although everyone in the valley had been busy these few months, Sima Yue was still doing her own things leisurely. She was treating her father's illness, looking for a way to save him, collecting information about the situation outside the valley and so on. Every time those people who were so busy saw her so leisurely, they were envious. If they had known earlier, they would have found an idle job that didn't need to work. Without that diamond drill they couldn't take on that kind of porcelain work. Without her appeal they could only accept their fate and work. Vice Valley Lord, the presidents of the Union Alliance are here. The Valley Lord invites you to go over. Sima Yue just finished giving Sima Lu Xian acupuncture treatment. When she heard the announcement outside she said, I got it. I'll go over right away. Then she said to Sima Lu Xian, Father, you're not in good health. Don't go. Okay. Sima Lu Xian nodded. Today many forces from the inner region would come. If they knew that he was back it would probably cause another storm. If it was in the past he wouldn't be afraid. But now he didn't have the strength. If something happened it would only implicate his family. It was better to avoid it. Now he didn't have the capital to be arrogant. Sima Yue saw the disappointment in his eyes. She put her hands around his neck and comforted him. Father, don't worry. I will find a way to cure you. When you're better we still have to look for Mother together. Besides, didn't great-grandfather also send a message saying that he will find a way to help you recover your strength? Okay, Father believes in you. Okay, today is such an important day. Go and do your work. Sima Lu Xian patted her hand. Okay, I have a lot of books here. Father, if you're bored you can read some books. Help me look after Ling Yu while you're at it. Sima Yue said a few words before leaving her courtyard. When she came to the living room, Xia Chang Tian and the others were already there. President, why are you all here together? She casually found a seat and sat down. You rascal. You didn't even tell us that you're back. Fortunately you told us about this. Otherwise we will definitely settle the score with you. Xia Chang Tian snorted. President, I just came back not long ago. Then I encountered these things. I'm too busy. Don't be calculative with me, Sima Yue said with a smile. But this is too sudden. Why did you all suddenly think of merging into one force? Fang Ming asked. Isn't it because of those mysterious forces? Sima Yue told him about what happened before. At the same time she expressed her own thoughts. Those mysterious people didn't belong to the same force. There should be different forces interfering in the inner region's matters. They shouldn't be the same force. The force that attacked us previously had a lot of their strongholds destroyed by us recently. They shouldn't have the energy to deal with you all. Xiang Yang said, the inner region hasn't been peaceful recently. Humph, those old fellows in the inner region are always restless. Let's see if they can still be so arrogant after we destroy their nest. Presidents, let's not talk about this now. The conference is about to start. I'll bring you all to the venue first, Sima Yue said. Okay, we'll discuss these things after you're done, Xia Chang Tian said. This group of old fellows saw that she was back. As expected, they wouldn't let her go. Sima Yue brought them to the plaza. When they were going down the mountain they bumped into Qin Mo and the others who were late. Thus they brought the Qin family along. When they arrived, the plaza was already filled with people. All the seats were filled and they were just waiting for the ceremony to begin. Sima Yue led them to the prepared seats. Before she walked to her seat she saw Shimin Feng, Liang Wu Ming and the rest of the elders walking in. Chapter 1399. The moment Liang Wu Ming and the others entered, the entire plaza quieted down. Bai Sheng and Old Man Devil stood on the stage and waved to the people below. The square quietened down completely. Thank you, everyone, for coming all the way here to attend our reorganization ceremony. Old Man Devil was the first to speak. I'm very happy that everyone is here to witness this day. Some time ago, the Divine Devil Valley was attacked by the Cloud Cave and the mysterious forces and suffered heavy losses. Now, more and more forces from the inner regions were interfering in the middle regions, causing a lot of bloody storms. In the face of an increasingly turbulent situation, everyone hoped to increase their strength. It was the same for Heartbreak Valley and Divine Devil Valley. After a discussion between both parties, we have decided to form a new power and merge the disciples of the two valleys into one, Bai Sheng said. That's right, as everyone knows, the Vice Valley Lord of Heartbreak Valley is also the Junior Valley Master of Divine Devil Valley. With this bond, the disciples of the two valleys wanted to further their relationship. From today onwards, there will be no Divine Devil Valley, no Heartbreak Valley, only a new force, Paramount Valley. Boom, boom. 81 cannons sounded from outside the square. The deafening sound announced the birth of a new power. After the cannon finished firing, Bai Sheng continued, Paramount Valley has two Valley Lords, Liang Wu Ming, Liang Valley Lord and Shimin Feng, Shimin Valley Lord, everyone should know about them. 4 Vice Valley Lord, 34 Elders, 10 halls and each hall. Bai Sheng introduced the structure of Paramount Valley to everyone. Sima Yue listened to the long list of names and for the first time she felt that they were really powerful. However, it was boring to sit like this. After that, Liang Wu Ming, Shimin Feng, and the others made some simple remarks. Then, they talked about some other things as well as the congratulatory gifts from the various forces. Sima Yue yawned as she sat on her seat. This process was really long. It was really tiring to just sit there and watch these things happen. After a long time, when it was close to noon, it finally ended. Everyone, we have prepared a light meal for everyone at noon. If you want to have lunch, you can follow the disciples of the valley. If you want to visit Heartbreak Valley, please find a disciple in the valley to show you around. They all have identification plates on them. Please find a disciple with an identification plate to lead them. In the evening we will have a big dinner party here. Everyone is welcome to have a taste. Oh my God, it's finally over. Sima Yue sat up from her seat. She felt that sitting there for half a day was more tiring than cultivating. Yue, why don't you show us around? Xia Chang Tian asked. Yue, look at how busy we are. I'll leave the various guild leaders in your care, Liang Wu Ming said. All right. Martial uncle, don't worry, Sima Yue replied. Everyone knew that if it was just an ordinary invitation, Xia Chang Tian and the others wouldn't have come personally. They had only come because of Sima Yue. Since that was the case, it was best for her to greet them. Speaking of which, these people had never been to Heartbreak Valley before. They were curious about this place. Hence, Sima Yue brought them around the valley. However, the places that she could go were places that ordinary guests couldn't go. Hence no one disturbed them. I didn't expect Heartbreak Valley to be like this. The scenery is really not bad. Shui Changlin sighed. The scenery here is not bad. However, under those beautiful sceneries there are hidden dangers. If you're not careful you might lose your life. Sima Yue said. Yue, you gave the antidote pill to those people just like that. Aren't you afraid that they will research the antidote for Heartbreak Valley? Xia Changtian said worriedly. If that antidote pill was really so easy to research I wouldn't have spent so much time and effort. Sima Yue said. But those people have your pill now. They might be able to deduce the real antidote pill. They won't. Sima Yue said with certainty. This kind of one-time use pill has no connection with our real antidote pill. Even the ingredients are different. Even if there are 7 of the same ingredients, they won't be able to think of the rest. Hence, even if they have this pill they won't be able to deduce the real antidote. There are at least hundreds of antidotes. Only 7 of them are the same. The difference is too big. Xia Changtian sighed. Otherwise, why would one last for 1 or 2 days while the other lasts for 3 to 5 years? Sima Yue smiled. If we easily hand our lifeline to others, then what's the point of our natural protection? That's true. However, you need to have the ability to do so. I'll take this as a compliment. Sima Yue said. Alliance Master Shui, about that mysterious force, how's your investigation? The progress in the first 2 years was more difficult. These 2 years are still okay. We've already followed the clues and uprooted several strongholds. We've also found some forces that are related to them. Shui Changlin said. What kind of forces are they? The ones we found aren't very strong. However, they are very rich forces. Shui Changlin said. Hence, we're guessing that they are the forces that provide them with financial support. Either they rely on them or they have their own forces. However, we haven't come to a conclusion yet. In order to follow the clues, we haven't alerted them yet. In the past 2 years, more and more forces have been destroyed. Battles can be seen everywhere. This world is getting more and more chaotic. Fong Ming sighed. No matter what, those people have targeted us. They have to be prepared for our revenge. Sima Yue said. Once we're done here, we'll join in the investigation of the mysterious force. If it was the previous Heartbreak Valley, she might not have been so bold. However, after fusing with 2 blind Paramount Valley, even the inner regions didn't dare to underestimate their strength. Alright. You guys follow this mysterious force and investigate. We'll continue to investigate this force. When the time comes, we'll definitely find some information. We want to see what those people want to do. He Qindong thought about the commotion caused by those people during his succession ceremony. He was furious. Alright, Yue, I heard that you're related to the mythical dragon sect. Is that true? I've taught their sect leader's daughter. One of their divine envoys is my senior brother. Sima Yue nodded. She didn't know why they would suddenly mention the mythical dragon sect. She asked, what happened to the mythical dragon sect? A year ago the mythical dragon sect was destroyed. Xia Changtian said. What? Sima Yue was shocked. She suddenly thought of the Sky Splitter Devil Sword. If the mythical dragon sect was destroyed, then where was the Devil Sword now? Shiqiu Shuang, Shi Qianji and Jianghu Xian. How were they? Chapter 1400. What do you mean? Do you want us all to go down and die? Someone roared. This person was also the one who had scolded Sima Yue before. Now that he heard that she still wanted them to leave, he immediately jumped up and scolded her. Sima Yue dug her ears and said, What are you yelling about? My ears are hurting from all that noise. Tell me, what are your C family's intentions? Are you targeting us on purpose? Another person who had scolded Sima Yue asked. Against you? Si Kong sneered. Yes, against you. What can you do about it? Master Si, you're looking down on the Zhang family too much. You don't care about what happens here because of personal grudges? Aren't you afraid of causing opposition from the people in the city? Speaking of who didn't put the other in their eyes, wasn't it your Zhang family who started it first? Si, you said, when you were scolding my little sister, why didn't you say that your family was targeting us? My father is right. I'm targeting you now. What can you do about it? If you insist on saying that it was because of personal grudges, the people in the city would say that it was because of you. It's obvious that you guys only need to go down and try, but you guys refuse. Aren't you the ones who are wasting time? Si family's third brother said. Hurry up. Meng Sha's face became even more gloomy. He stared at the Jiang family members with eyes as sharp as knives. But they still stood there motionless. Jianghu had died just now. How could they go down? Jianghu didn't force them any further. After all, they had already lost 2 experts. If they lost any more, even the Jiang clan wouldn't be able to bear it. Seeing that they didn't understand, Meng Sha's figure disappeared from where he stood. Almost at the same time, he appeared behind the 2 people who had spoken just now. Before anyone could react, the 2 people had already been thrown down. Meng Sha. Although Zhang Hao's strength was slightly higher than Meng Sha's, he was still inferior in this aspect. He could only watch as Meng Sha was thrown down. If you want to stall for time and wait for that thing to counterattack, you can guard the south of the city alone. In any case, I believe that the little girl said to wait until the entire southern part of the city is covered before making a move. We will be fine. After Meng Sha finished speaking with a cold face, he returned to his previous position. Zhang Hao was angered until his face turned green. But seeing that the other 3 people's expressions were not good, he did not dare to say anything. Since everyone has gone down, let's hurry up and try. Although Luo Qi was the biggest, his temper was actually the best among the 4. But even so, he was very impatient. Every time the Zhang family didn't stir up some trouble, they would feel uncomfortable. At first, the 2 of them were worried that the black fog would spread and turn them into 2 skeletons, just like the 2 skeletons at their feet. Hurry up and start. Wu Man also urged, remember, don't use spiritual energy anymore. If he couldn't use his spiritual energy, how could he deal with that thing? But if he used his spiritual power, that thing would come over even more. Still not attacking? Meng Sha's voice was filled with killing intent. If the other party did not attack, then he would attack. You don't need to use your spiritual energy. Just shout like Little Black did just now. Hurry up, patience is a thing that will run out eventually. After playing for so long, Sima Yue was also a little annoyed. If the Zhang family did not attack, then she really would not attack. Everyone could hear the displeasure in Sima Yue's words. They were afraid that she would really leave, so their gazes towards the Zhang family became unfriendly. At this time, Zhang Hao did not say anything. No one knew if he was too angry to say anything, or if he silently agreed with Sima Yue's actions. Hurry up. What are you waiting for? Can you bear the responsibility if something happens? Isn't that right? Your Zhang family is so powerful, hurry up. The surrounding people who were watching the show all shouted. Although they were far away, the people inside could still hear them. Especially those who were not from the south of the city. They were not so afraid of the Zhang family and shouted even louder. Look at everyone's enthusiasm. You guys are the people's hope. Hurry up. See, you laughed evilly. The Zhang family's faces were very ugly. But since it was already like this, they couldn't delay any longer. Otherwise, people would say that they were not willing to help the city. Let's try. Zhang Hao finally couldn't take the pressure and ordered. No matter how unwilling the 2 people below were, they had to do it now. But when they thought about barking like a dog, they couldn't do it. In the end, the sound they made was even softer than a mosquito's wings. How can we scare that thing away with such a soft sound? This time it wasn't the C family who spoke. Sima Yue glanced at the people behind Meng Sha. They should be from the east of the city. Woof woof woof. The 2 people had no choice but to bark twice. Then they turned around and flew back without caring whether it was useful or not. And that black fog was still in the same place. It didn't retreat at all. Of course it wouldn't retreat. Not everyone was as powerful as Little Black. This was the result that everyone expected, so no one was disappointed. Looks like these 2 people can't do it either. Let's change to the next wave. So you said. The rest of the people couldn't avoid it. Luckily these 2 people came up safely. At least it meant that their lives weren't in danger. In the end, they all went down one by one to bark like a dog. Are you satisfied now? Zhang Hao looked at Sima Yue. At this moment, his anger was contained. But his tone still betrayed him. I've rested enough. Godfather, I'll go down and continue with my work. Sima Yue didn't even bother to look at Zhang Hao. She said to Si Kong and the rest and flew down with Little Black in her arms. Si Kong didn't expect Sima Yue to remember to tell him that. Although it was their first time meeting, she left a good impression on him. She had the style of his family. If Sima Yue knew what he thought, she would probably roll her eyes in her heart. She was much better than them. They were a family of bad people. When those people saw that Sima Yue was willing to take action, their anxious hearts calmed down by half. Their instincts told them that as long as she was willing to take action, this matter wouldn't be a problem. They saw Sima Yue carrying Little Black to the square. When the black fog saw them, it retreated a little. Although it was only a few centimeters away to those onlookers, this little bit of distance was hope. Sima Yue looked at the distance and said, "Are you going back by yourself? Or do you want us to chase you back? Don't go too far." They didn't expect that thing to speak. This person needs to know his own limits, okay? Sima Yue caressed Little Black. Do you think that if you go back today there will be a second result? The black fog moved even more violently, but it didn't dare to get close to Sima Yue. Sima Yue was too lazy to talk nonsense. She raised Little Black in her hands and threw it at the black fog. This book came from Chapter 1401. The others were shocked by Sima Yue's actions. Would Blackie also be turned into a pile of bones by the black fog? However, everyone soon realized that when Little Black fell from the barrier, the black fog took the initiative to avoid it. Please search to see the most complete. Update the fastest. It was the same this time. Wherever Little Black landed, the black fog would scatter. Xiao Hei seemed to be unhappy that Sima Yue had thrown it at him, and it was furious. However, it could not vent its anger on Yue, so it could only vent its anger on the black fog. It arched its back and all the hair on its body stood up. It growled at the black fog as if it was preparing to attack. That aura was several times heavier than when it was chased back. Just now that thing already couldn't take it anymore. Now it was even worse. Sima Yue didn't have to say anything as it quietly retreated. Just now, so many people went down to try but failed. Sima Yue and the rest went down and did it in 2 minutes. Needless to say, they knew who saved the lives of these people in the city. Wu Man and the rest had been staring at the black fog ever since Sima Yue went down. Now that all the black fog had retreated, they heaved a sigh of relief. However, they weren't completely at ease. Although this thing had returned, it was still churning in the pool. If he didn't reseal it, it would rebound as long as Little Black wasn't around. The seal on the pool had already been destroyed by it. Now that there was nothing to restrain it, it could get up at any time. Wu Man and the other 3 flew down and stood at the 4 corners of the pool. Wu Man happened to be beside Sima Yue. "We're finally back. Thank you, little girl." Luo Qi was the first to speak. Sima Yue did not expect anyone to thank her. She nodded and said, "You're too kind. Don't call me manager. Since you're the Si family's daughter, just call me Uncle Luo like Siyu." Luo Qi said, "Oh right, I still don't know what your name is." Sima Yue was startled. She heard Siyu say that there was no one with the surname Sima. If she said her name, wouldn't it attract attention? "I'm Si Qin." She used Siyu's fake name. "So your surname is Si too?" Luo Qi said. Sima Yue nodded. The first word, Sima, was also Si. "Alright, let's think about what should we do next." Jianghu said. "What else can we do? We can only think of a way to seal it?" Meng Sha said. Editor Endless Fantasy Translation. Of it, even if it's useless, we still have to think of a way. Wu Man said, "We can't let them keep guarding here, right?" "Why not?" Zhang said. Sima Yue said, "Sima of Sima Yuin of Sima Yue and naturally Yue. No. Wu Man directly refused. Yue. Extreme times call for extreme measures. It's not like we're asking her to guard here forever. Jianghu said. "If Manager Zhang is willing to stay here with me, I don't mind waiting here for a few days." Sima Yue said, "Manager Zhang, are you willing? I have to manage all the affairs in the South City. Where would I find the time to waste here with you?" Jianghu replied without thinking. "Oh, you don't have to guard here if you have something to do." Sima Yue purposely dragged her words. "Since you're talking about it, I have something to do too. Then I won't be guarding here." "What could you possibly have?" "Of course it's something important." Sima Yue said, "Why, Manager Zhang can be busy, but can't us commoners do the same? I don't have any power over it and I'm useless here. Of course I have to do something." "Who said that those with power have to guard here? What benefits did you give me? Did you give me your position?" Sima Yue said coldly, "I'll give you 2 days at most. If you can't think of a solution, then stay here with me." From Sima Yue's point of view, these people were not to be trifled with. 2 days was enough for them to come up with a solution. However, she didn't expect everyone to be in a difficult position. Even Wu Man frowned. Sima Yue understood that this solution was really hard to come up with. However, this had nothing to do with her. She didn't need to worry about it. She had only been here for 3 to 4 days. She hadn't even figured out the situation yet, and she had already encountered such a situation. She didn't even know what this thing was or where it came from. Moreover, she did want to help before. After all, Ghost City had settled down so that she could find her father. However, her good intentions were all destroyed by those arrogant fellows from the Jianghu family. After that, Sima Yue took out a chair and sat at the side. At this moment she thought of Mu Si. It had already been more than a day. Mu Si definitely hadn't eaten. It was fine if they didn't eat for a day, but Mu Si hadn't eaten for a day and 2 nights. She looked around and didn't see Mu Si. She frowned and asked Siyu, "Where's Mu Si?" Siyu looked back. Because there were many people, Black Phoenix was flying behind the crowd with Mu Si. "He's here. Bring him down." Siyu didn't know what Sima Yue wanted to do, but she still obediently brought Mu Si down. The moment Mu Si landed, he grabbed Sima Yue's clothes and asked nervously, "Are you okay?" "I'm fine. Didn't you see it from up there?" Sima Yue smiled at him. "You haven't eaten for a day. Are you hungry?" Mu Si didn't expect her to remember that he hadn't eaten. He was so touched that his nose turned sour. But he still shook his head and said, "I'm not hungry." But his stomach didn't cooperate and exposed him. Actually, he really wasn't hungry before. Faced with such a situation, he was worried about Sima Yue. He was so nervous that he didn't even think about being hungry. But now that Sima Yue was fine and he heard her mention this, he naturally felt hungry. "Oh right, I forgot that Mu Si still needs to eat." Siyu patted Mu Si's shoulder apologetically. "Since you're hungry, wait at the side. I'll make you something to eat." Sima Yue said as she took out her cooking tools. Once Xiaohei saw Sima Yue taking out those things, his eyes lit up and he barked. "Xiaohei, you've worked hard this time. I'll make you some bones later." Sima Yue said with a smile. Xiaohei thought about it. It seemed that the dogs in the space liked bones the most. So it should like bones too. With that thought, it wagged its tail happily and even stuck out its tongue like a dog. Sima Yue pursed her lips. This guy really thought of himself as a dog. This book came from Chapter 1402. Mao San Quan was seriously injured and his life was in danger. If they found them, they would definitely treat him first. However, if they were targeted after entering, even if they found Mao San Quan and the others, they wouldn't be able to treat them in peace. Therefore they had to enter quietly. "Uncle Xian, do you have a way to open this space seal?" Sima Lufeng asked. "None of us are array masters. We don't have any comprehension towards space. If we don't want to alarm others, it would be very difficult." Sima Xiuqi said. "If it really doesn't work, we'll split up after we go in. We'll lure those people away and you go save them." Wang Yingying said. "No," Sima Yue denied. "We don't know how many of them there are and how powerful they are. If they have an expert like Grandpa and a lot of people, then it will be very dangerous for you to go. Only then can you go and find them." Huang Yingying said. "But I can't put you in danger because of this." Sima Yue said, "There will be other ways." Although her words made everyone happy, it showed that she still cared about them. However, they didn't have much hope that she had a way. Even Sima Xiuqi couldn't sneak in. What could she do? Sima Yue raised her head and looked at the snow mountain in the distance. Suddenly, her eyes lit up and she said, "Grandpa, this spatial seal only seals the sky, right? The underground usually doesn't care, right?" "Yes." Sima Xiuqi said, "You want to pass through underground?" "That's right. Since they don't care about the underground, we'll go through the underground." Sima Yue said. "That won't do." Sima Xiuqi said, "Generally, when we talk about the ground, it includes tens of meters of the surface. Even if we dig a hole here, we won't be able to get through." "What if it's a few hundred meters underground?" Sima Yue asked. "The space seal doesn't just seal a single point. It could be hundreds, thousands of meters or even thousands of kilometers." Huang Yingying said, "Even if you dig a hole, it's impossible to cross it." "It doesn't matter." Sima Yue said, "Just follow me. Grandpa, help me sense the range of the spatial seal." "You can? Give it a try." After Sima Yue finished speaking, she released a stream of fire attribute spiritual energy. The snow began to melt slowly until it reached the soil layer. She immediately congealed a protective circle, enveloping everyone inside. Then she used her earth attribute spiritual power, and the frozen soil turned into muddy water. "We're going down. Grandpa, pay attention to the lockdown." she reminded him and then jumped down with everyone. Alright, we forgot, you're a multifaceted spirit master. Sima Lu Feng cried out. Sima Yue smiled but did not say anything. She controlled the protective circle to sink down, and from time to time she would inject fresh air through the protective circle. They kept on sinking, and when they were close to 1,000 meters, Sima Xiuqi finally spoke. That's enough. I can no longer feel the fluctuations of the seal here. It's actually so deep underground this time. If it wasn't for the earth attribute, we wouldn't be able to enter at all. Sima Lu Feng said. Seems like the other party has an expert, which is why they can go so deep underground. Sima Xiuqi frowned. Even he might not be able to set up such a seal. Could it be that the other party's ability was above his? Sima Yue controlled the protective circle to move in parallel. Seeing him like this, she said, Grandfather, could it be that the other party's ability is stronger than yours? The possibility is very high. Sima Xiuqi said. Everyone was silent. If that was the case, then this matter was extremely dangerous. Since that's the case, then we can only counter soldiers with arms and water with an earth weir. Sima Yue said. No matter what, she would not implicate them and cause them to lose their lives. They kept on moving underground. They didn't know how far they had walked. When Sima Yue's earth attribute spiritual power was about to be exhausted, they finally reached a place where there was no seal. Sima Yue brought them back to the surface. She estimated that the thickness of the seal was at least 1,000 kilometers. It's almost 1,000 meters deep, and it's 1,000 kilometers thick. I don't know how long it is. This is really a big deal. Grandfather, maybe the other party is an array master. They're more proficient in space, but their ability isn't that strong. Let's go find them. Sima Yue took out the scroll that she used in the immortal land. After injecting spiritual power, a few dots appeared on it. Grandfather, this direction. She pointed out the location to Sima Xiuqi. After Sima Xiuqi estimated the location, he opened a space tunnel and walked in. They should be nearby. Sima Xiuqi said. Let's look for them. Sima Yue called out many scarlet bees and said, I know it's cold here, but I still have to ask for your help. Go find my senior brothers and sisters. If there's any news, let me know immediately. The scarlet bees flew in all directions. Very quickly news came back. Grandfather, the bees said that there's someone fighting in that direction. Let's go and take a look. The few of them quickly flew towards the east. They were extremely fast. Very quickly they saw the two parties fighting. It's senior brothers. Sima Yue shouted. They saw more than 10 people surrounding Jianghu. At this moment he was already covered in wounds. Fresh blood flowed out, dyeing the surrounding snow red. The people around him were still attacking him fiercely. The protective circle he created was about to be broken. Grandfather. Grandmother. Sima Yue shouted. Let's go. Sima Xiuqi said. He flew over with Huang Yingying. In a few breaths they arrived at the battlefield. Sima Yue then realized that their speed was much faster than hers. Previously they were accommodating her speed. The two elders didn't talk nonsense with these people. After they went up, they directly attacked. After a few attacks, the people surrounding Jianghu were all sent flying. They fell on the snow and didn't know if they were still breathing. Senior brother. Sima Yue ran over and just happened to support Jianghu who was about to fall. Little junior sister, why are you here? He knelt on one knee. He didn't fall completely because of her support. He thought that he wouldn't be able to escape today. He didn't expect that at the last moment she would actually appear in front of him. Sima Yue took out a pill for him to eat. Then she said, I contacted senior sister and the others and told them that they were here. So I rushed over. How are you now? Where is Director Mao and the others? Jianghu took out a snow Ganoderma and handed it to her. He said, 50 kilometers to the east. Before he could finish his words, he fainted. Sima Yue saw the snow Ganoderma with blood. She guessed that this should be the medicine to save Mao Sanquan. She didn't dare to delay. She called out little Peng and carried Jianghu up. Then she quickly flew in the direction he said. Chapter 1403. In the cave, Han Miao Shuang looked anxiously at Mao Sanquan, who was lying on the bed for a long while before breathing once. Junxian has already been out for 3 days. If he doesn't come back soon, I'm afraid that Director Mao will. In the past few days they had already thought of all the methods they could think of. Finally they had dragged it out for so long. But if they didn't come back, Mao Sanquan would lose all hope. I'll go look for them. Shi Qianji got up from the ground and walked out shakily. If you go out like this, I'm afraid you'll fall down after a few steps. Su Xiaoxiao stopped him. But if he continues like this, I'm afraid he won't last more than half a day, and there's still no news from Jun Xian. I'll go with you, Shi Shuang said. Han Miao Shuang turned her head and wanted to say something, but before she could open her mouth, she suddenly cried out in surprise, Junior sister! Little junior sister is here. How do you know? Shi Shuang asked. Shi Qianji looked at the scarlet bees that flew to the entrance of the cave, and his eyes flashed with ecstasy. It's really her. I didn't expect her to come so soon. The people of Divine Dragon Sect did not know why Shi Qianji was so agitated all of a sudden, but before they could ask, they felt someone approaching. Then, several figures appeared at the entrance of the cave. Little junior sister. Han Miao Shuang came up and saw the unconscious Jiang Junxian and said, You met him. Yeah, I saw that he was being attacked, so I saved him. Sima Yue said, He's already taken the pill, so he'll be fine for now. Let's not talk about this for now. I'll go and see Director Mao. Alright, quickly go and take a look. He's already exhaling more than he's inhaling less. Han Miao Shuang's eyes reddened as she spoke. Take care of senior brother. Sima Yue stuffed Jiang Junxian into Shi Qianji's hands, then came to the bed. Seeing Mao Sanquan's appearance, her eyes couldn't help but redden. It could be said that there was no part of Mao Sanquan's body that was intact. Bones could be seen in many parts of his limbs. His stomach was also often wounded. Although it had been treated, it still looked scary. Sima Yue's heart ached. Every time he saw Mao Sanquan, he was arrogant and full of vitality. But now, lying on the bed, where was the shadow of the past? But now was not the time for her to be sad. Treating him was the most important thing. She put away her emotions and began to examine Mao Sanquan. Han Miao Shuang and Su Xiaoxiao watched as Sima Yue's frown deepened. They were afraid that she would say something hopeless, so they held their breaths. The others were also concerned about Mao Sanquan's condition. However, when they saw Sima Yue feeding him pills and injecting needles, they didn't dare to make a sound. Even their breathing became lighter for fear of disturbing her. After a long while, Sima Yue finished inserting all the needles. She let out a long sigh of relief and took out a handkerchief to wipe the sweat on her forehead. Han Miao Shuang looked at Mao Sanquan, who was almost pierced into a sieve, and pursed her lips, asking, Little junior sister, how is it? It's safe for now, Sima Yue said. She took out the snow Ganoderma and sighed, No wonder senior martial brother gave this to me before he fainted. She cut a thin slice and put it in Mao Sanquan's mouth. She waited for Mao Sanquan's breathing to become even before she kept the needles. At this time Jiang Junxian woke up. When he saw Sima Yue keeping the needles, he asked, Little junior sister, Instructor Mao, don't worry. With me here, even if the King of Hell comes personally, he won't be able to take his life. Sima Yue said calmly. That's good. Jiang Junxian heaved a sigh of relief. Sima Yue kept the needles and said, What's wrong with you guys? Why can't you guys recover from your injuries? I'm ashamed to say this. We've been poisoned. Our wounds can't recover. Healing pills are useless for us. Shi Qianji's master said embarrassedly. As the Poison King, you've been poisoned. I'm afraid your reputation will be stolen. Sima Xiuqi said. Poison King? Sima Yue was stunned for a moment. That's right. This is my master, the one known as the Poison King Yuanju. Shi Qianji introduced. Old man Sima, what did you come here for? Yuanju and Sima Xiuqi didn't see eye to eye. Just now, in order not to disturb Sima Yue's treatment, both of them didn't say anything. Now that she was done, the two of them started to argue. If you think I wanted to come here? If it wasn't for my granddaughter coming here, even if you invited me, I wouldn't come. Sima Xiuqi snorted. I didn't expect that when we meet again, you would be in such dire straits. You old fart. All right, grandfather Poison King, stop arguing. Sima Yue said. The two of them snorted at the same time, but they kept their mouths shut. Sima Yue didn't expect Sima Xiuqi and the Poison King to know each other. Poison King, since you guys know how to use poison, why are you still poisoned? She asked. Yuanju sighed and said, It's not that there's no cure, but even the cleverest housewife can't cook without rice. We know what the antidote is, but we don't have a way to refine it. Sima Yue nodded. They were trapped in this snowy mountain, and all they could see was a vast expanse of white snow. If they didn't prepare the herbs beforehand, they wouldn't be able to refine the antidote in this kind of environment. What kind of herbs do you need? Maybe I just happen to have them, she asked. Yuanju listed more than 10 herbs at once. Sima Yue was silent for a moment, then smiled and said, "Coincidentally, I have all of these herbs." She waved her hand, and a pile of herbs appeared in front of Yuanju. Yuanju was a little surprised. The herbs that he listed were all very rare, and some could even be said to be extinct. He didn't expect her to take them all out at once. "Poison King, with these, can you refine the antidote?" Sima Yue asked. "Yes." Yuanju nodded. "Qianji, come with me." The two of them took the herbs to the side of the cave, and without hiding from the crowd, they began to refine pills. Sima Yue didn't care about the antidote, and went in front of Shiqiu Shuang. She asked with concern, "Are you okay?" Shiqiu Shuang looked at her and felt a lump in her throat. She hugged her and tears fell directly on her shoulders. "Yue, my father is dead. The mythical dragon sect has been destroyed. I have nothing left." Sima Yue could understand her feelings. She reached out and patted her shoulder, comforting her. "Don't be afraid. You're still alive. As long as you're alive, you can avenge them. As long as you're alive, there's hope. My world has collapsed. Yue, what should I do?" "Don't be afraid. You still have so many people by your side. For their sake, you have to pull yourself together." Sima Yue said, "What's more, there's a group of people out there looking for your whereabouts. They want to kill you all. You can't fall here." "Yes." Shiqiu Shuang let go of her and wiped the tears on her face, saying, "I understand. Tell me what's going on." Reading background default settings: classic light blue, classic light gray, classic green, classic bright yellow, dark blue, ocean, autumn, abundant green, elegant red, powder, aristocratic, family, red, talk, thick, sea, wide, sky, broken heart, past, snow, white, world, gray, world, font color default settings: white, red, green, blue, brown, font size default settings: small, medium, large, speed 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 1 0, mouse scroll description 1 to 10, 1 is the slowest, 10 is the fastest. Chapter 1404. Everyone else had left and only Sima Yue, Mu Si and Siyu were still eating. Yibo and Di Wu flew down after the others left. The others wanted to stop them, but because of Sima Yue's words, they could only come down. "Missy, do we really have to wait here for 2 days?" Di Wu asked dejectedly when he saw the table was almost empty. "Those people ate really fast. Young Miss made so much, how could they finish it all?" Now only the plate in front of Miss was left. Sima Yue pushed the barbecued meat in front of her towards him when she saw his greedy look. Di Wu's resentment immediately dissipated. He sat down with a smile. "Little sister, I want to ask Di Wu the same question too." Siyu looked at Sima Yue. "Do we really have to wait for 2 days? What if they couldn't find a solution after 2 days? Are we really going to wash our hands of it?" "What do you think?" Sima Yue asked. "Based on my understanding of you these past 2 days, you definitely won't wash your hands of it," Siyu said confidently. Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. "You trust me that much?" "I don't trust you, I trust my intuition. My intuition has always been accurate," Siyu said. Sima Yue smiled and did not say anything else. Although she said that she would give them 2 days, if Wu Man and the others really couldn't find a solution, could she really leave? Although she didn't have any feelings for this city, there were still so many lives. If she didn't do something within her ability and watched so many lives pass away, she would feel uneasy. When Siyu saw her like this, she knew she had guessed correctly. "Am I right? Although you said so much just now to make them think that you really don't care about this matter, we all know that you're actually just trying to anger Zhang Hao and the others. But to be honest, what you did was really satisfying." "Do you have a grudge against the Zhang family?" Sima Yue asked. "The competition between the clans. I don't care about what happens at home, but I've heard about it. Moreover, those people from the Zhang family are really annoying. They are so arrogant. We should teach them a lesson." "Isn't that so? I'm angry just watching from behind." Di Wu said, "If Master was here, he wouldn't bear to see Miss suffer like this. You're the only one who can make a Zhang family member bark like a dog." River Earl, who usually didn't talk much, finally said something. "That's why I say don't provoke women. Women always seek revenge for the smallest grievance," Siyu said with a smile. "By the way, I really have to thank you and your father for what happened today. If it wasn't for them not exposing me and giving me an identity, I'm afraid I would have gotten into more trouble." Sima Yue said gratefully. "You don't have to be so courteous with me. I've always treated you as my younger sister. Siyu waved her hand. My father and brothers dote on me a lot. They definitely won't embarrass me. When I'm done here, I'll definitely pay you a visit to thank you. You're thanking us? We should be thanking you. Siyu said, if it wasn't for you suppressing this thing, I'm afraid the entire ghost city would have been destroyed. That's why you're our savior. You're probably the only one who thinks that way. I think everyone in the Jianghu family wants to get rid of me as soon as possible. They can only think about it now. You can save all the citizens in the city. No matter what, the Jianghu family members wouldn't dare to kill you now. Siyu analyzed, when this is done, follow me back to the north of the city and ask Ant-Man and my father. See if they really know where your father is. Okay. Sima Yue thought about Wu Man's flirtatious look. She didn't know if she would tell her if she asked. Even if it was because of Siyu and the fact that she saved the citizens, she probably would. However, if Wu Man didn't tell her, she would think of other ways to find her father's whereabouts. Why didn't you go back with your father and the rest just now? I stayed behind to accompany you. Siyu said, if I didn't stay you would be here alone. What if someone bullied you? Now that you're a member of the C family in the eyes of others, they would find it weird if we didn't leave some people behind. They would definitely think about how to leave you here alone and then think that I'm just imagining things. Thank you. Sima Yue was really grateful to her. If you want to thank me, then agree to let me stay with you while you're in Ghost City. Don't leave with me. Okay, I won't chase you away now. I'll keep you by my side so that I can use your power to intimidate others. Okay, then we'll see who's the one who's intimidating others. Haha. After eating and drinking to her heart's content, Sima Yue kept the things away. She would take them out to cook at night. Siyu saw the black fog boiling in the pool. She wanted to go over to take a look but was worried that it would pounce over. I didn't think that there would be such a thing in the forbidden area. She thought of the day when the incident happened. She wanted to bring Sima Yue in to take a look. Luckily she didn't come in at that time. Otherwise she would have been caught. Sima Yue was also interested in the thing in the pool. Since they had nothing to do now, they might as well interrogate it. For safety's sake, she carried Little Black in her arms and came to the side of the pool. The others followed behind her and came to the side. There was a faint black fog floating above the pool. The black fog in the pool was so thick that it seemed to have condensed into water. Because of her and Little Black's proximity, the water in the pool rippled. She didn't know if it was because of fear or because it wanted to resist. I didn't think that Sure could have its own consciousness. It's a pity that it doesn't know its place. She sighed. That's not fair. Sima Yue heard the hoarse voice from before. Everyone was shocked. Oh my god, so this thing can talk. Siyu patted her chest, looking like she was shocked. What's not fair? Sima Yue wasn't as shocked as the others because she had heard it before. Why did you lock me in here? I want to go out, I want to go out. The voice shouted. At the same time, the water in the pool started to churn even more. It was very agitated now. Sima Yue could hear the unwillingness in its voice. She shrugged and said, you can just stay here quietly. None of us have so much to do. Why did you lock me in here? What? I want to go out. The black fog shouted, I don't want to stay here quietly. I want to go out, I want to leave. I want to go out and take a look. Not knowing why, Sima Yue felt that she heard a voice that longed for freedom after being locked up for so many years. Chapter 1405. Woof, woof, woof. Little Black saw that the fellow in the pool was getting more and more excited and was about to spill out. It barked at it twice, and the other party immediately quieted down. Sima Yue patted Blackie's back gratefully and said to the thing in the pool, you've never come out before? No. That thing seemed to be afraid of Xiao Hei getting angry again, so it spoke carefully. From the moment I gained consciousness, they locked me in here. I've never been able to leave. Ever since you gained sentience. Siyu was shocked. You weren't suppressed because you did something bad? There's no such thing. That voice growled and wasn't so polite to Siyu anymore. I've never done anything. They've been keeping me here for so many years. I want to get out. I want to go out. Piff. Musi was injured by the aura released by that thing and spat out a mouthful of blood. Don't be noisy. Sima Yu's internal organs were shaken by his voice as she roared with a frown. She came to Musi's side and checked his pulse. Then she took out a pill and fed it to him. If you act like that again, I'll cripple you, she threatened. The water in the pool quieted down. Musi, how are you? Siyu ran over to ask. He's fine. He's just injured. He'll be fine after eating some pills. Sima Yue said. She took out a chair and said to Mu Si, sit down and rest. Mu Si's face was pale. He listened to Sima Yue and sat on the chair. In order to prevent this from happening again, Sima Yue casually set up a small enchantment to protect Mu Si. She came to the side of the pool and said, I can hear that you want to leave. However, if you leave, won't this city disappear as well? Is that why they suppressed you? No, that's not the case. The voice retorted, in the beginning they imprisoned me here just to obtain power from me. Later they were afraid that I would turn on them, so they imprisoned me here forever. Who obtained your power? A resident of the city, or the city lord? Sima Yue asked. No matter how powerful I am, I can't support the cultivation of millions of people. If that's the case, it's for the city lords to cultivate. Sima Yue said. Not only the city lord, but also the city lord's successor. But those successors don't come often. That's why they wanted to imprison you here. Who would have thought that after thousands of years, you actually gained your own consciousness? Sima Yue said, and now you don't want to be restrained, so you've started to resist. They were afraid of your revenge, so they could only use an even more powerful seal to suppress you. That's right. All these years, you've accumulated a lot of resentment in your heart. So, when you come out, you'll definitely start a massacre. That's what I thought before, the thing said honestly. I've been suppressed for so many years and I can't accept it. I want revenge. I want to kill everyone. I want to kill everyone. That thing became agitated again and the water in the pool began to boil again. Luckily, Mu Si was protected by the enchantment this time, so he didn't get hurt again. How pitiful. Siyu said sympathetically. If she had been trapped in this pool since she was born, she thought about it and shuddered. This thought was too scary. If it was her, she would go crazy. At least she would be like this thing, wanting to destroy everyone. Sima Yue also sympathized with this thing, but she didn't completely believe its words. She had an idea. Such a powerful thing if she kept it? So you're saying that if you leave here, it won't affect the citizens of this city? She asked. No. That voice said, I have nothing to do with this city in the first place. How could anything happen to me? He replied too quickly, which made it hard to believe. Little sister, you're not thinking of saving her, right? Siyu said. Sima Yue didn't think that Siyu would be so sensitive, guessing her thoughts right away. Do you think it's possible? She didn't plan to hide it. If she wanted to find her father, she might need Siyu's help. Also, Siyu had defended her in front of so many people, so she remembered this. Siyu looked at the water in the pool and frowned, saying, I don't understand this thing. If you let it out, what if it hurts people again? Also, I don't think they'll let you let it out. That's true. If I let it out, that old witch probably won't let me leave alive. Sima Yue said. If you let me out, I'll definitely protect you and leave. That thing really knew how to take advantage of loopholes. If I let you out and you acknowledge me as your master, are you willing? Sima Yue asked. That's a good idea. Siyu said, if it acknowledges you as its master without your orders, it won't hurt anyone else. At the same time, it can protect your safety. No matter how unwilling they are, they won't dare to do anything to you. You don't want it to acknowledge you as its master? Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. Forget it. It's so powerful, I don't have the ability to suppress it. Don't even mention acknowledging me as its master. I'll be devoured by it when the time comes. Siyu saw it clearly and didn't lose her rationality just because this thing was powerful. Ibo, who was behind, wanted to say something. He opened his mouth but remained silent in the end. Even Miss was more open-minded than him. This thing was so powerful. If there wasn't anything that could suppress or restrain it, even if it acknowledged her as its master, it could still devour her at any time. If it was light, the master-servant relationship would be flipped. If it was heavy, she might even lose her life. And Sima Yue had Little Black. Anyone could see that this thing was afraid of Little Black. With Little Black around, it wouldn't dare to devour Sima Yue. So if she wanted to keep this thing, only Sima Yue could do it. Sima Yue saw that she understood and felt that she was a girl worth befriending. There were too many greedy people in this world. In this world where power reigns supreme, how many people could see their true nature and not be confused by these temptations? If you have it, you might really be able to find your father this time. However, if you want this thing to acknowledge you as its master, I'm afraid it won't be easy. Siyu said. Sima Yue also felt that it wouldn't be easy. she turned around and looked into the pond saying, "If you acknowledge me as your master and I bring you out, would you be willing?" "Acknowledge you as my master? No. Impossible. I won't acknowledge a human as my master. However, if you let me out, I'm willing to do two things for you in return." That thing cried out. "Really? Do you really think that I'll let you leave for free?" Sima Yue shrugged. "Either you acknowledge me as your master or you continue to stay here. You choose." Chapter 1406. The others were still thinking about what she meant by going underground, but she had already answered their questions with her actions. She injected earth attribute spiritual energy into the ground, and the ground immediately melted into muddy water. After she jumped in, it returned to its original state. "I really didn't expect her to have earth attribute spiritual energy," Shi Qianji exclaimed. "I hope she can gain something this time." Han Miao Shuang muttered. "Definitely." Jiang Junxian said affirmatively. "Nothing can be too difficult for her." Sima Yue went all the way down. Because Sima Lu Xian couldn't tell where the mineral vein was, she could only search for it slowly. Fortunately, the underground was not affected by those things, and she soon felt the aura of the mineral vein. Following the aura, it did not take long for Zhang Xian to find a vein. "This mineral vein won't do." Sima Lu Xian's voice sounded. "If someone was here, they would be shocked. This mineral vein is rather small, so the power inside is definitely not enough." Sima Yue said, "Father, is this the mineral vein you discovered back then?" "No." Sima Lu Xian denied. "At that time the mineral vein only leaked a little aura, but it made me feel a majestic power. It's definitely not this one." "Then I'll look for it again." Sima Yue was not discouraged. She left the place and continued to search underground. Later on she found a few more, but they were not the one that Sima Lu Xian mentioned. "I really didn't expect there to be so many mineral veins here." When she found the sixth mineral vein, she couldn't help but sigh. The Jade Snow Mountain is located on the ice snow plain. The spirit beasts here are much stronger than those in other places, so people rarely come here. In addition, the ice and snow above had concealed the aura of the mineral vein, so no one knew that there was one here. Therefore, those people would not come here to look for the mineral vein. That's why there are so many mineral veins here. Sima Lu Xian explained. "If we can develop the mineral veins here, we will be rich." Sima Yue squinted her eyes as she started to plan for the mineral veins. Sima Lu Xian saw the expression on her face in the spirit pagoda, and the corners of his mouth raised into a doting smile as he said with a faint smile, "It's indeed not bad. However, you have to overcome the difficulties here first. You should know that Wuxia Mountain is not an easy bone to chew." "Father, are you talking about those spirit beasts?" "That's right. The mineral veins are not very useful to those spirit beasts. But everyone will have the same thought, and that is, I can't give you what I don't want. But that also depends on the conditions." Sima Yue said, "As long as I can give them what they want, these unimportant things are worthless in the face of benefits. What if you can't meet their conditions? Then just use your fists," Sima Yue said without hesitation. "If it doesn't agree, then beat it until it agrees." "Haha, you really have your mother's demeanor back then." Sima Lu Xian laughed. "Your mother used to be like this too. If someone was not convinced, she would beat them until they were convinced. If you're still not convinced, then let's continue fighting." "It's a pity." Sima Yue felt that he was sad again, so she said, "Dad, don't think that I'm talking nonsense. I'm confident." "Do you think you can be more powerful than those divine beasts?" Sima Lu Xian laughed. "Do you know what my contracted beast is?" That was Crimson Flame. It's the legendary vermilion bird. Its nirvana flame can burn the sky and destroy the earth, not to mention this small snowfield. If those guys don't agree, I'll let Crimson Flame melt all the snow here, so that there won't be any snowflakes in this snowfield. I'll see if those guys are willing. Sima Yue laughed as she said this. Wasn't she acting like a first-class gangster? This is not bad. Sima Lu Xian laughed too. The sadness in his heart was diluted a lot. "When the things at hand are done, I'll bring people over to take a look." Sima Yue said and nodded, putting this on the agenda in her heart. "Okay. Just based on the few mineral veins we found, if we can develop the mineral veins here, it should be able to maintain a large force for many years." Sima Lu Xian said. They had already found so much. If they found the one that Sima Lu Xian mentioned, wouldn't it be even more powerful? And Sima Yue also felt that the mineral veins here in Jade Snow Mountain were not the only ones in this snowfield. Thinking of having so many mineral veins, she was in a good mood. Sima Lu Xian saw that she was so happy, and a sense of satisfaction rose in his heart. But now we still have to find the mineral vein that father mentioned. Let's settle things first. Jade Snow Mountain is just a medium-sized mountain range. The range is not very big. Now that we've been searching for so long, we should be able to find it soon, Sima Lu Xian said. Sima Yue silently memorized the location here, and then continued to search. Sima Lu Xian's analysis was right. Not long after they searched, they felt a majestic aura coming towards her, even with a strong wind. What a strong aura! The power here must be extraordinary. Sima Yue exclaimed in her heart. When she was ready to defend, the power stopped in front of her. Sima Yue was surprised. The power of this attack was condensed. If it hit her, she would be seriously injured even if she didn't die. And looking at the way she attacked just now, it should be very strong. Why did it suddenly stop? Humph, you have the nerve to show off in front of me with such little power. Mi Er's voice suddenly sounded in the dark underground. Sima Yue noticed that the aura actually retreated a little. Stupid woman. You actually forgot about me. Mi Er's voice was a little lazy but also a little angry. Then, a miniature version of Sima Yue appeared in front of her. Sima Yue felt Mi Er's dissatisfaction and said with a smile, "You know how to find mineral veins? Why didn't I know you have this ability?" "I know a lot of things." Mi Er put his hands on his hips, raised his chin and was very proud. "Humph, who asked you not to look for me in the beginning? If I was here, you wouldn't have to spend so much time." Sima Yue understood. This guy had been watching her looking for this mineral vein. He knew where it was, but he didn't say, just watching her look around. "You didn't tell me." She pinched Mi Er's face. "That aura just now was surrendering to you?" "Of course." Mi Er said proudly. "Don't talk about this kind of power that just has a spirit. Even if it really has a spirit, it will have to surrender to me when it sees me. I am the king of this world. Ha ha ha." Chapter 1407. With this thing's strength, protecting her for 10 years was a very tempting offer for the average person. However, to Sima Yue, it was the same as not having it. She was not interested at all. Seeing her silence, the thing thought that she was considering it and continued, "If you think 10 years is not enough, we can extend it to 20 years. As long as you let me out, I promise I won't harm anyone in the city." Sima Yue knew that it had misunderstood and said, "I am not considering your offer. I just don't want to talk to you." "What do you mean?" That thing shouted angrily, feeling that it had been played. "I've already told you, either you acknowledge me as your master, or you continue to stay here. I don't intend to discuss other conditions with you." Sima Yue said, "If you can accept my conditions, I'll let you out. If you can't accept it, we have nothing to talk about." "Do you really think I don't dare to touch you?" That thing was angry. The black fog rolled several meters high as if it wanted to retaliate. Woof woof woof. Little Hay's back was bent, and its front paws were half off the ground. Its eyes were fierce, and it released its aura to look at the things in the pool. Daring to threaten Yu, how bold. The black fog originally wanted to attack Sima Yue, but it was suppressed by Blackie's aura. The black fog on the surface of the water became much thinner. Sima Yue squatted down and carried Little Black. She comforted it. "Little Black, be good. Let's not be angry with it. We'll be leaving in 2 days anyway. Let it stay here forever." That's right, Xiaohei. Anyway, this is its last chance. If it doesn't grab hold of it, when the old witch comes back, it won't be able to recognize her as its master anymore. Siyu said, "Little sister, since there are still 2 more days, let's continue. I still have many arrays to discuss with you." "All right." Siyu hooked her arm around Sima Yue's and was about to walk back when that guy panicked. "Is there really no other way?" he asked. "No." Sima Yue rejected it without hesitation, as if it was really dispensable to her. Seeing that they were about to start discussing array formations again, that fellow finally compromised. Acknowledging her as his master was better than being imprisoned here forever. However, with Little Black around, it would never be able to turn the tables. Between freedom and dignity, it chose the former in the end. It really wanted to leave this place. Sima Yue and Siyu had their backs facing the pond. When they heard its words, they looked at each other and smiled. With the 2 of them joining forces, how could they not be able to deal with this fellow? The 2 of them turned around and looked at it, asking, "Have you really thought it through?" "Yes." Am willing. It gritted its teeth when it said the last two words. Presumably it wasn't really willing. Sima Yue smirked. She did not care whether it was willing or not. As long as it was bound by the contract and suppressed by Blackie, it would not be able to resist. If it really didn't work, there was still the purple extreme heavenly lightning. Since you've agreed, then hurry up and form the contract. Siyu said, when those people come back and realize that it's gone, it'll be troublesome. Now that you're contracted, hurry up and leave this place. Won't that bring trouble to your family? Sima Yue said. Although they might ask father for it, as long as we say that you're gone, they won't dare to do anything to us. Siyu said. That's still troublesome. You've already helped me a lot. How can I leave after getting into trouble? Furthermore, I still need to find my father. Before I find him, I won't leave. Sima Yue thought for a while and asked the fellow in the pond, do you have a way to deceive them? I can leave a clone here. Those people won't find out. After a while it will slowly disappear. How long can it last? At least 2 years. Sima Yue calculated in her heart. 2 years should be enough for her to find her father. When she found her father, it would have been so long ago. Those people would not be able to find her. Then use your clone. Sima Yue said. I knew it. You're a woman who values friendship. Siyu smiled and said. You're good to me. How can I be ungrateful? Sima Yue said. Let's form a contract first. Siyu reminded. Sima Yue was troubled. This thing did not have a shape. How could she form a contract with it? Do you know how to form a contract? When she asked this, everyone present was stunned. This thing had never appeared before. They really did not know how to form a contract. I don't know. Hebo, do you know? Hebo shook his head as well. I can recognize you as my master. The fellow in the pond said, put your hand into the water and I'll recognize you as my master. Put my hand into the pond? Little sister, that's too dangerous. Siyu frowned. Who would let a person put their hand into a spirit beast's body? If it played any tricks and killed Sima Yue when she wasn't on guard, it would be able to escape. I understand. Don't worry. I know what I'm doing. Sima Yue said. She carried Little Black to the side of the pond. She turned and said, you guys go outside first. Help me look after Musi. We'll be here. If anything happens, we can help. Siyu said. If anything happens, you guys won't be of any help even if you stay. Sima Yue said. Thinking about it, Siyu brought Musi and flew away from the plaza. Diwu and Hebo also left. However, they did not go far. They stopped in the air and observed the situation. Sima Yue squatted down. The water was only a few centimeters above the surface. She reached her hand into the water. She knew that this was not real water. It was just the liquid form of the black mist. When she reached her hand in, she felt a bone-piercing coldness. She felt a surge of energy enter her body from her hand. As soon as the energy entered her body, it began to disperse throughout her body. Furthermore, it carried an offensive nature as it directly attacked her internal organs. Zizi, before that force could reach her vital parts, it was dealt with by the lightning and dissipated. The remaining portion was also surrounded by the top-grade purple lightning. What is this thing? Half of that force was destroyed by the top-grade purple lightning. The remaining force was terrified of the purple lightning around it. I knew it. You're up to no good. Sima Yue scoffed. Do you really think that I'll obediently let you plot against me? The top-grade purple lightning tastes good, right? That fellow never thought that there would be such a powerful thing in Sima Yue's body. It wanted to use this chance to kill her. As long as she died, Little Black would die too. Then there would be no one who could threaten it. Who knew that there was something in her body that could restrain it. Chapter 1408. When Sima Yue and Mi-Er came out of the array, they saw a chaotic battle scene. The other side had a large number of people, and even Mao San Quan, who had just woken up, had joined the battle. In front of Mountain D, the formation had been completely destroyed. Mi-Er, go save Director Mao. The rest of you, come with me to fight. She called out all the beasts and gave them an order before flying towards the center of the battle. The beasts were still complaining about how they hadn't had a good fight in a long time. They didn't expect that they would be able to show off their skills so soon. One by one, they impatiently pounced on those people. With their addition, the Divine Dragon Cult's people became a lot more relaxed. Is that Sima Yue? A few people who were standing outside the battlefield recognized Sima Yue and her beasts. No wonder Sima Xiuqi and Huang Yingying, those two old fellows, are here. Someone snorted coldly. It is said that Sima Yue is not very strong, but she is very strong. I want to see if she's stronger or if we're stronger. No matter how powerful she was only one person in a group of beasts. They had more than 100 people. Therefore they were not worried at all when Sima Yue and Shou Shou joined the battle. They could even watch the battle calmly from the side. But soon they could no longer laugh. Sima Yue summoned Little Birdie. Although it did not have a level, its combat power was very strong. Wherever it went, those who were weaker would be burned to ashes. As for those who were more powerful, they also used all their strength to condense the strongest protective circle, which allowed them to avoid the fate of being burned to ashes in the first wave of attacks. However, even though they managed to escape Little Birdie's attack, they were unable to withstand Mi Er's attack. After the black fog passed, all that was left were the skeletons. Not only was the other party stunned, even mythical dragon sect, Mao San Quan and Han Miao Shuang were stunned. Who was that person who looked so much like Yu? She was actually so powerful. The people outside the battle were stunned when they saw Mi Er. One was the flames of the vermilion bird, and the other was a black mist with an unknown name. What suspense was there in this battle? Retreat. The leader gave the order, but it was too late. Almost all the people he brought this time were killed by Sima Yue. In the end, only a few people who were far away managed to get the opportunity to leave under the desperate efforts of their subordinates. They actually escaped. Han Miao Shuang said hatefully as she watched the spatial tunnel close. Although they couldn't leave this place, they could still use the spatial tunnel in the sealed space. We weren't able to kill them all. I'm afraid that they will bring more people back soon, Shi Qianji said. They were severely injured this time, so they won't be able to come back anytime soon. Sima Yue said, they still have to discuss how to deal with us. With the sudden addition of Mi Er, they naturally did not dare to act rashly. At the very least they would discuss what to do. Cough, cough, Mao San Quan's body was affected. He covered his body and coughed a few times. Sima Yue walked over and supported him, saying, Instructor Mao, your body is so badly injured. Why did you come out? The other party has so many people. How can I hide in Mountain D alone? Mao San Quan said, you, on the other hand, always make me see you in a new light. Instructor Mao, Grandpa, let's go in first. Sima Yue supported Mao San Quan into Mountain D, checked his body and fed him some pills before letting him rest. Yue, how is it? Have you found your vein? Huang Yingying asked. Sima Yue nodded, I found it. I've also confirmed the plan. But you're all injured. Take a rest first. We'll go over there. Okay. She didn't say much about the vein. Although she was friends with Shi Shuang, it was better to keep such an important thing a secret. 2 days passed quickly. Just as Sima Yue said, those people didn't send anyone over. Just as Sima Yue said, the other party was frightened by Little Birdie and Mi Er's methods. Although they knew Little Birdie's identity, Mi Er's appearance was too sudden and powerful. Hence, they sent someone to investigate his identity. In these 2 days, everyone's injuries were mostly healed. Sima Yue set up a one-time use array and let everyone in. Just as the formation closed, the light of the formation appeared outside Mountain D. Very quickly, a group of people walked out from inside. Not good. They're trying to escape. Someone shouted. Don't worry, they won't be able to escape. A mustache man calmly touched his beard. Elder Su, sorry to trouble you. The mustache man nodded and led the way into Mountain D. He saw the broken array in the middle of Mountain D. This is a one-time use array. The array stones and array patterns are all broken. Elder Su, are you able to deduce where they are? What's so difficult about that? Su Lu said confidently, as long as there's a trace, I'll know where they went. You just wait and see. Su Lu deduced a few times and very quickly set up the same array. If Sima Yue was here, she would definitely be amazed at this person's array skills. Let's go, boom. Before those people even entered the array, they heard a deafening attack sound. Following that, everyone felt as if the space was shaking. Su Li's expression changed and shouted, not good. Let's go over quickly. Elder Su, what's wrong? They are attacking my seal. After Su Lu finished speaking, he entered the formation, and those people also entered, disappearing into the Mountain D together. The remaining people waited for them to leave before entering the array in batches. When Su Lu and the rest came out of the array, they saw Mi-Er standing on the peak of the snowy mountain. Behind him, there was a visible force rushing out from the peak of the mountain. It rushed into mid-air and hit the sealed space. Elder Su, what's that? Will this space seal be broken by it? The power of the mind. They actually used the power of the mind to attack my seal. Sulu was extremely shocked. He was not only shocked by the existence of the mind, he was even more shocked that Mi-Er could actually control the power of the power. There's actually a mind here. The person beside Sulu trembled. If this matter was reported, wouldn't the sect reward him handsomely? Don't be happy too early. The power of the mind has been used by them. I'm afraid it's already messed up. This place is already an abandoned mine. Although Sulu was not a Seeker Spirit Master because he had a Seeker Spirit Master senior brother, he had some understanding of the mine. That's a pity, that person said regretfully. But now was not the time to discuss the mine. Elder Su, will this sealed space be broken? It's hard to say. Go and get someone to stop him from continuing his attack. Sulu saw that Mi-Er was about to attack again and shouted. Chapter 1409. The person beside Sulu also noticed that Mi-Er was about to launch his next attack. With a wave of his hand, his subordinates all charged towards Mi-Er. You overestimate yourself. Mi-Er sneered and stretched out his hands. There was a commotion from the top of the 4 mountains not far away from the mountain peak. Then the snow mountain collapsed. 4 forces rushed out from the top of the mountain and went straight for the people who were attacking. Everywhere they went, those people were forced to retreat. Sima Yue and the rest who had just returned from afar were so shocked that their jaws almost dropped to the ground. This is simply... They were speechless as they stared at Mi-Er. How could there be someone in this world who could control the power of Shi so freely? As for Sulu and the others who were watching from afar when they saw this scene, they couldn't say that they were shocked but horrified. What kind of spirit beast was this? Ha ha ha. Mi-Er laughed and controlled the power of Shi to attack everywhere. More and more people came, but none of them could get close to Mi-Er. Mi-Er, stop fooling around. Let's get down to business. Sima Yue shouted. Sima Yue frowned as she looked at the people who were still coming through the space tunnel and array formation. Why are there so many people here? She looked at Shi Shuang and the others beside her. There were only a few dozen people from the mystical dragon sect left alive. Even if the other party wanted to exterminate them, they shouldn't have sent so many people, right? Could it be that they were hiding something from her? Shi Shuang looked at Sima Yue's undisguised gaze and felt guilty. Yue, I think I need to know the truth. Sima Yue interrupted Shi Shuang. She didn't want to listen to those pompous excuses. She wanted the truth. Shi Shuang looked at her, bit her lip and said, I'm sorry Yue. I have my reasons. Chiu Shuang, I've always trusted you. Sima Yue said, but I hope my trust won't be used by you. If that's the case, I don't know if I'll forgive you. Shi Shuang's body trembled. She did not expect Sima Yue to say such harsh words. Shi Qianji did not want to see Shi Shuang sad. He went forward and grabbed her hand. Looking at Sima Yue, he said, we never thought of using you. However, there are some things that we can't tell you right now. But you have to believe that we won't use you. If you save us, we will be grateful. If you don't save us, we won't say anything. Sima Yue pointed at the increasing number of people and said, there are so many people. It shouldn't be as simple as killing all of them, right? Yue actually... Shi Shuang wanted to say something but was stopped by Shi Qianji. Junior sister, don't say it. Senior brother, do you think we can keep this a secret? Besides, Yue won't be greedy for it. Shi Shuang smiled at Shi Qianji, then looked at Sima Yue and continued, not long ago, father sent people to find something. I think it's this thing that caused this disaster. Is it related to the sky splitter? Sima Yue guessed. Shi Shuang nodded. Do you know about the heart of glazed glass? Heart of glazed glass? What's that for? The heart of glazed glass can clear one's mind. If it's used during meditation, it can help one understand. If it's held in one's hand during cultivation, it can prevent one from going berserk. If one has already gone berserk, it can clear one's mind. Shi Shuang said, it's this kind of treasure that made these people guess that the sky splitter is still with us. Sima Yue understood. Shi Shuang's father must have felt that it was getting harder and harder for him to control his mind. He was getting crazier and crazier, so he sent people to find the heart of glazed glass. However, he did not expect that because he exposed the existence of the sky splitter, it caused this disaster. Those people want the heart of glazed glass. That's why they sent so many people. She said with certainty. I think those people should know about this. Shirqiu Shuang said, with the heart of glazed glass, it can help people resist the corrosion of the sky splitter on their consciousness. Who knows, they might be able to maintain their consciousness while having it. If that's the case, this thing is very important. No wonder they sent so many people. Sima Yue said. I'm sorry, Yue. It's not that I didn't tell you on purpose. Although my father is no longer around, I don't want them to get this. Shirqiu Shuang said. Sima Yue's eyes narrowed slightly, saying, if that's the case, I won't let them snatch this thing away. Thank you. Shirqiu Shuang said gratefully. Sima Yue turned her gaze to Mi-air, watching him control the space to attack. Boom, boom, Sima Yue felt the ripples from the space. The pressure was lessening, which meant that the sealed space was loosening. However, once Mi-air shifted his focus, those people got a breather and turned their target to Sima Yue. Today I won't let you escape. Sulu shouted. Is that so? Do you have the ability to do that? Sima Yue's face darkened. You have that array book on you. Sulu said, if you hand it over obediently, I can let these people spare your life. Sima Yue's heart skipped a beat. How did this guy know about the array book? What did you say? Don't play dumb with me. Sulu said, your array, I've only seen it in my sect, but it wasn't as exquisite as yours. Other than that book, no one else would know about it. Sima Yue squinted her eyes. You're from the 100 Changing Doors. Ah, that's right. So, you better hand over the book obediently. I never thought that the 100 Changing Doors would do something like exterminating a sect. Sima Yue said, if you want that book, then we'll have to see if you have the ability to do so. After saying that, her figure disappeared on the spot. When she reappeared, she was already beside Su Lu. Su Lu, on the other hand, attacked the spot where she appeared at the same time, causing her sneak attack to go up in smoke. He then teleported and appeared beside Sima Yue, grabbing her by the neck. Yue. You? How dare you? Junior sister. When the crowd saw that Sima Yue was captured, they cried out in shock. They wanted to go up and save her, but Su Lu glared at them. If you want her to die immediately, then come at me. Su Lu lifted Sima Yue up and faced the crowd. Everyone had no choice but to stop, not daring to go forward. Using teleportation in front of me, that's your biggest mistake. I'm the best at teleportation in the sect. Su Lu laughed coldly. If you want to live, then hand over the array book obediently. Sima Yue's face lit up with a smile. She wasn't as afraid as he expected. Capturing me is your biggest mistake in life. Seeing her smile, Su Lu felt a chill in his heart, but it was all too late. Chapter 14:10. Sima Yue smiled at him and grabbed his hand that was strangling her neck. Then, to his surprise and confusion, a fire snake condensed from her hand and quickly climbed up his hand. In just a breath's time, his entire body was wrapped up. Ah! Su Lu let out a blood-curdling scream and fell from the sky. If Sima Yue did not ask little birdie to control the temperature, he would not even have the chance to scream. Since he dared to threaten her, he would not die so easily. Ah! Bang! Su Lu fell to the ground and could no longer make any sound. At the same time, his life jade shattered. However, no one knew whether he had fallen to his death or had been burned to death by Xiao Burke. Deep in the mountains of the inner region, a man who was meditating suddenly woke up. He took out Su Li's life token from his interspatial ring. Seeing that the life token was already in pieces, he immediately cried out. Oh, who killed my brother? Who is it? No matter who you are, I will definitely kill you. Sima Yue did not know that she had another enemy. Even if she knew, she would not take it to heart. Her life was not something that could be taken away by any random person. When the others saw that Su Lu had been killed, they immediately cried out. Heavens! Master Su has been killed. This is bad. Will the 100 Changing Doors come after us? Why are you panicking? We invited Su Lu here and we paid him a reward. Even if the 100 Changing Doors is looking for trouble, they should be looking for her. What does that have to do with us? That's true. When Sima Yue heard their words, she knew that they were not from the 100 Changing Doors and heaved a sigh of relief. In her heart, she still hoped that the 100 Changing Doors wouldn't be the culprit. If this was done by Su Lu alone, then the 100 changing doors would not be implicated. However, the fact that he had killed Su Lu in public could not be concealed any longer. Boom. Mi-air attacked again and the spatial seal was completely broken. Grandpa. Sima Yue shouted. Sima Xiuqi nodded and began to open the spatial passage. We can't let them escape. Surround them. A group of people flew towards Sima Yue in an attempt to stop them. Someone attacked Sima Xiuqi, forcing him to close the spatial passage he had just built. If you want to stop us, you should deal with these guys first. Sima Yue yelled. Before those people could understand what was going on, the roars of spirit beasts could be heard from afar. Then, several hundred spirit beasts rushed over from afar. Heavens! Why are there so many spirit beasts? These spirit beasts have gone mad. Those spirit beasts rushed over and attacked everyone. However, when they met Sima Yu and the others, they all avoided them. It was as if they only had eyes for those people. Why aren't they attacking us? Someone from the Divine Dragon sect asked. We have an aura that they are afraid of. When they see us, they will naturally stay far away. Shi Qianji said. As for what that thing was, it was not important. Grandpa, let's go. Sima Yue said. All right. Sima Xiuqi opened the spatial passage again and brought everyone in. Those people were too busy dealing with the spirit beasts and did not have the energy to stop them. When Sima Yue went in, she turned back to take a look. Mind, wait for me to come back. Hall Master, those people have left. Should we chase after them? Chase your head. Didn't you see so many spirit beasts? Escape is more important. Retreat. But no matter where they escaped to, those spirit beasts chased after them relentlessly. In the end, only a few people managed to escape. Sima Yue and the others came out of the spatial passage and were already far away from the winter plains. Those people should not be chasing after us. Sima Xiuqi said. Thank you, Grandpa. Sima Yue said gratefully. Thanks this time. I owe you a favor. Yuanju snorted. Although he sounded unwilling, the gratitude in his voice was still good. Qiu Shuang, what do you plan to do next? Sima Yue asked. Although we're out of danger for now, it doesn't mean we're really safe. Shi Qiu Shuang said, we have to find a place to hide for a while. Sima Yue understood that they would definitely have their own hiding places. She nodded and said, that's good too. Then we'll take our leave. Mao Sanquan said, Miao Shuang, you guys follow me back to the sect. In the sect, even if those people wanted to deal with them, they were too far away to do anything. But Han Miao Shuang looked at Jiang Junxian. He was not considered a member of the sect now. Naturally, he could not go back with them. If he wanted to go with Shi Qiu Shuang and the others, then she had to follow too. Junxian, what do you plan to do? Shi Qianji asked. Jiang Junxian looked at Han Miao Shuang and said, go back with Instructor Mao. It's too tiring to follow me. No matter what, I will be with you. Han Miao Shuang grabbed his hand with a firm attitude. Senior brother, senior sister, why don't you guys go back with me? Sima Yue said. Heartbreak Valley had just merged with Divine Devil Valley. At this time, their strength was not as simple as 1 + 1 = 2. Even if those people wanted to touch them, they would have to think twice. If they went to Heartbreak Valley, their safety would be guaranteed. Unexpectedly, Jiang Junxian shook his head and said, I'm a member of Divine Dragon sect. Naturally, I have to be with them. I'll be with you. Wherever you go, I'll go. Han Miao Shuang said. Sima Yue looked at them and asked helplessly, Qiu Shuang, is the hiding place absolutely safe? Shi Qiu Shuang was silent. Even the nest was attacked. How could the so-called hiding place be absolutely safe? Her silence made everyone understand what she meant. Sima Yue sighed and said, if you have nowhere to go, go to Heartbreak Valley. No. You saved us today. We're already very grateful. If those people can't get this thing, they won't give up. We can't implicate you. Shi Qiu Shuang rejected without thinking. Anyway, those people know that this was done by my Heartbreak Valley. It's impossible to get away from it. Sima Yue said, but we also have a request. That is, you can't leak the information of my valley. Yue. Shi Qiu Shuang looked at Sima Yue and bit her lip to stop her tears from falling. Alright, if you're grateful to me, you can also make some contributions to us. For example, you can give us your assassination techniques and let us train some powerful assassins. Sima Yue patted her shoulder. Alright. These are just worldly possessions. Shi Qiu Shuang understood that she didn't really want her secret technique. She just wanted them to go to Heartbreak Valley to hide in peace. Then it's settled. Let's go back. After Sima Yue finished speaking, she took out a one-time use array and let everyone in after activating it. Chapter 14:11. In Heartbreak Valley at this time, it had lost the liveliness of the past few days. All the guests had left, and Heartbreak Valley resumed its usual life. In the formation courtyard of Heartbreak Valley, the light of the formation lit up at this time, attracting the attention of the guards outside. Who would come at this time? Could it be the Vice Valley Lord? I heard that the Valley Lord and the others were asking about the whereabouts of the Vice Valley Lord. Maybe it really is. Let's go in and have a look. The two of them went in together, just in time to see the light of the array getting brighter and brighter. Soon, a group of people appeared in the middle of the array. When they saw Sima Yue, the two of them became excited. They quickly bowed and shouted, "Greetings, Junior Valley Master." Sima Yue nodded at them and said, "Thank you for your hard work. Are the two Valley Lords in the valley?" "They're all here." Sima Yue said to Shi Shuang, "Come with me to meet the two Valley Lords. We have to inform them about this." "Two Valley Lords? Isn't Shimin Feng the only Valley Lord in your valley?" Shi Shuang asked. "It's like this. More than 2 months ago, Heartbreak Valley and Divine Devil Valley merged and formed a force. Now we have two Valley Lords." Sima Yue explained to them and told them about the situation in Paramount Valley. "I didn't expect you to come here on such an important day. Junior sister, thank you." Han Miao Shuang said gratefully. She did not expect Sima Yue to abandon so many guests and go straight to Wuxia Mountain to save them. "Although that day is important, it doesn't have to be me. That's why you guys are more important." Sima Yue smiled and brought them to meet Liang Wu Ming. Liang Wu Ming had already received news of her return before she arrived. He even knew that she had brought someone back. However, he never thought that she would bring so much trouble. Shimin Feng received the news and also went to the conference hall. He happened to hear her talking about what had happened in the past few days. "Yue, since you've already brought them back, it shouldn't be a problem for us to provide them with a place to hide," Liang Wu Ming said. "Thank you, Martial Uncle." Sima Yue bowed to Liang Wu Ming. "Many thanks to the Liang Valley Lord and the Shimin Valley Lord." The people of the Divine Dragon sect also bowed to express their gratitude. "Yue, this is our secret technique. If you master it, you'll be able to conceal your aura better. This is what we use to train assassins." Shi Shuang took out a book and handed it to Sima Yue. She said, "This is what we agreed on before. I'll give it to you now." Sima Yue didn't stand on ceremony either. She passed the book to Liang Wu Ming and said, "Valley Lord, I'll leave this to the valley. If the disciples in the valley learn this, we'll have another layer of protection." Liang Wu Ming and the others already knew that the Divine Dragon sect had this kind of treasure book. It would be a lie if they said they didn't covet it. However, they wouldn't share it so casually. That was why they didn't think much about it before. They didn't expect that they would be able to obtain this secret technique today. If all the disciples in the valley learned this, then their strength would rise to another level. "Valley Lord, if there's nothing else, I'll go and arrange their accommodation," Sima Yue said. "Go and arrange it first. Come back after you're done. We'll discuss about Cloud Cave and Zhongzheng Clan's Yin Palace," Shimin Feng said. Sima Yue understood that they were going to take action. She nodded and said, "I'll be back soon." After she settled Han Miao Shuang and the others, when she came back, the elders and hall masters in the valley were all gathered. "Boss, we heard that you brought the people of the Divine Dragon sect back to the valley?" "Yes," Sima Yue replied. "Are those people reliable?" Heartbreak Valley's antidote was originally researched by Shi Qianji and me. That's why this natural barrier isn't impenetrable to them. Sima Yue said, "Also just now they all swore that they wouldn't leak our information and wouldn't do anything that would let us down." Hearing that they swore, the others' worries were relieved. With the restriction of the oath, these people wouldn't do anything that would let Paramount Valley down. "Yue, do you think it's possible to let them join us?" Bai Sheng asked. "Join us?" Sima Yue was surprised. She never thought of letting them join them. That Yuanju is known as the Poison King. He can fight against 100 people alone. If we can recruit him, our life-ending haul will definitely be more powerful," Bai Sheng said. "We know that you left after hearing about the Divine Dragon sect. That's why we sent people to investigate." Liang Wu Ming said, I heard that Yuanju wasn't in the sect at that time. If he was, things wouldn't have turned out like this. The people you brought back now were all brought out by him alone, despite being surrounded by many people. But, if they enter Paramount Valley, we will have to bear their hatred together. Sima Yue said, they are different from the people from Blood Fiend City. Blood Fiend City mostly has personal grudges. But they are related to the Sky Splitter Devil Sword. Sky Splitter Devil Sword? What's going on? How is this related to the legendary Sky Splitter Devil Sword? The Sky Splitter Devil Sword is no longer the legendary divine weapon. It has been around for decades. Sima Yue said, that year, it had already caused a storm in the inner regions. It's just that we didn't pay much attention to it. Then, she told them about the Sky Splitter Devil Sword's appearance, how it was related to the Divine Dragon Sect, how those people destroyed the Divine Dragon Sect for the sake of stealing the sword and how they chased after them because of the Heart of Glazed Glass. I really didn't expect that these people would be involved in so many things. Old Man Devil sighed. Although the Sky Splitter Devil Sword had disappeared for so many years, the people in the continent never stopped searching for it. If they knew which powerhouse those who came to snatch it were, I'm afraid that powerhouse wouldn't end up any better than the Divine Dragon Sect. I think those people don't want people to know who they are, so they killed Qiu Shuang and the rest. Sima Yue said, now that they know that we interfered, I think they won't let us go. Then we have to come up with a countermeasure before they make a move. We have to tell them that they have the Sky Splitter Devil Sword. Bai Xing said, although it's a little harmful, but if you die then I die. We are now being targeted by a mysterious powerhouse in the inner regions. If this happens again, I'm afraid we won't be able to handle it. Why don't we throw this out? Liang Wu Ming agreed with this. Let's do this. Sima Yue wasn't a saint. She didn't feel that she should keep the news of the Sky Splitter Devil Sword for the sake of the world. After all, if they didn't take any action, the fire would burn them. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.